Your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. I hope you're having yourselves a fantastic morning. Happy April 1st. And guess what? It's baseball. And guess what else? It snowed outside in central New York. And this is no April Fool's. Go outside and look at it. Like I just told Papa Joe and Mary, it looks like the inside of an Oreo. It's actually a pretty sweet looking thing because I love Oreos. That's why I can't have them in the house. So it's a very, very happy baseball day. But it feels like April Fool's because it's like, hey, it's baseball season, but it's snow. It's snowing in the north. I don't know where else it's snowing, but I know that here, where Santa likes to vacation after he does all the gift giving, right in Syracuse, New York, it is snowing, and it's a real thing, folks. The sun is out. It actually doesn't even feel that cold outside, yet here we are with snow. And a couple days ago, I was walking on Onondaga Lake Parkway, and it was 70 degrees outside. So my allergies, as you can imagine, they're going nuts, and they're all over the place. I feel like Two-Face right now. Part of me is like summer, part of me is winter. I'm trying to find myself somewhere in the spring, but I'm happy to be here with you, and I hope you're having yourselves a great morning this morning. If you're not, we're going to make it better, and if you are, well, we're going to make that one better too. Inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is hanging out with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And we are on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, which is where you're listening, on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage, where you're also listening, as well as on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, and on Facebook Live, on facebook.com/live-now-dt, where you are watching and listening inside of these beautiful Cafe Kubal studios. Cafe Kubal, great place to heat up this morning. Get your coffee, get your chai, get your tea, get whatever you need, and find yourself at Cafe Kubal on any one of their locations, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 208 North Townsend Street, where Cafe Kubal Co-Works is, where you can rent out space for your business and also record your podcast like Gene and I did last week. And, of course, 401 South Salina Street, all of those four locations in Syracuse, and their newest location in Manlius on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York. So, with all that being stated, it's Thursday, it's April 1st, it's officially Holy Week, and yes, Holy Thursday counts. So even if it doesn't count to anybody else, it counts to PJ, Mary T, and this guy. So happy Holy Thursday. We got a great show set up for you. We are literally, baseballs to the wall, as Papa Joe and Ross Turetsky are joining me today. PJ in hour 1, Ross in hour 2, and the entire show to celebrate the nation's pastime, which is baseball. So we're going to try and have a full season this season, 162 games, and I'm excited to have a full show with two of my favorites. Let's bring in PJ for hour number 1. PJ, how we doing?
Good morning, Daniel. Everything's fine. I'm getting ready. Getting my popcorn popped and my Pepsi's ready to go. So at 1 o'clock, I'll be ready to go.
We need to get you some kettle corn from Ma and Pa's so that you're actually got some fair popcorn.
Jip it down.
Got to send it down to you. I mean, you can order it from anywhere in the country and have it shipped right to you. And if you use my promo code, you get 20% off. But if Papa Joe goes through me, he gets it for free. So, because I would be buying it. You know what? I need to buy and send some down to you and Miss Mary T. Or when I see you soon, I'll just have to bring it with me when I come down.
That'll work too.
So you got a full day of baseball. You got to be ecstatic. Before we get into the conversation about some of the specific things going on, I want to let everybody know what opening day truly looks like. This is opening day 2021 for Major League Baseball. And folks, the schedule for Major League Baseball for today is going to be absolutely jam-packed. Very excited about this, and I know a lot of you are going to be sitting, some of you here in central New York will try their best to not even leave the house because of the snow outside, and you'll just shut yourself in the basement where you can't have any windows to see that it's snowing and pretend that it's warm out while you watch baseball, as the Blue Jays will take on the Yankees, the Orioles and the Boston Red Sox, the Pirates will take on the Cubs, the Dodgers with the Rockies, the Cardinals will face off against the Reds, the Tampa Bay Rays will take on the Miami Marlins, the Chicago White Sox will take on the Angels. We'll also see the Cubs go up against the Tigers, The Twins face off against the Brewers. The Braves against the Phillies. My Diamondbacks against the Padres. The Rangers against the Royals. The Mets against the Nationals. The Astros against the A's. And the Giants against the Mariners. Papa Joe, welcome officially to baseball season.
Oh, I'm excited, Daniel. Every year I get fired up with baseball. I know these guys are jerks and they make too much money, but I've just been a baseball guy since I've been 5 years old. So I'm not sure a lot of games are going to get off today, but I'm not sure that the Yankees, you say it's snowing in Syracuse, the Blue Jays are at the Yankees, and I don't know if they're going to be snowing in New York City, but we'll see very shortly.
Yeah,
I should pull up League Baseball. Hey, Mayor. MT. Can you put Major League Baseball on TV?
So PJ is setting it up already and getting ready for it, and I love it. I feel like we should do a sitcom because I love it. Right? It's like a sitcom. You and I, Papa Joe, because we're sitting here talking about baseball, and then he just cuts to, "Hey, Mayor, why don't you put on some baseball for me?" So, did you?
There's basketball we got to finish this week, and of course baseball will start. So you basketball guys are going to have a lot to talk about here today.
Well, let me tell you something about basketball. In this crazy tournament season, your meatball number 2 over here had predicted Gonzaga and predicted Houston. And so 2 of my Final Four made it to the Final Four. And if they make it to the championship game, I will have correctly predicted in one of the most wily and crazy NCAA tournaments of date, I will have predicted during a pandemic, even with all the stuff going on, the correct 2 teams to advance forward. And if my national champion's still alive in that sense, then I'll have that too. So what do you think about the fact that my prediction of the Final Four right now, I got 2 teams in the Final Four, and if they both win, I will have accurately predicted the championship game weeks ago.
No, you did. Congratulations. Did you make any money on it? You should have gone in. Should have called up Las Vegas and put it through.
I'm telling you, listen, Papa Joe, I just need people to send apology letters, chocolates, roses, whatever they could do. Maybe they could buy me the MLB package so that I can live the high life like you do. But it's one of those things where it's very, very difficult to predict March Madness, and the fact that this has been such a crazy bracket, yet I'm still very much alive in it, I'm very grateful for, and I take no credit because I have to thank the Gonzaga Bulldogs, and I got to thank the Houston Cougars for helping to make it possible. I made the prediction, they played the game, so just really, really good. Have you been watching the games? Did you watch recently?
Actually, Daniel, I've been watching the girls. I don't much follow I do follow the boys. Of course, I follow them, but yeah. I'd rather watch the ladies play basketball. They play a much more purer game than the boys do. They play it below the rim. They play it the way it's supposed to be, cutting out, rebounding, spot-up shots, 3 points, driving. They do it all. And, of course, my UConn Huskies are going to be right there, and they are going to be the ones to beat. I can't say it's an easy draw, but it's an easier draw with Arizona, with South Carolina going up against Stanford is the other game. And, when you think about basketball at the beginning of the year, you pencil in some of these teams. Well, the Cardinals going to be there, South Carolina's going to be there, UConn is going to be there, Louisville's going to be there. And there's not a lot of basketball at the beginning of the year. You pencil in some of these teams. Well, women's basketball, there's not a lot of upset.
Yeah.
And these 2 games are going to be fun to watch. But ultimately, it's going to come down to South Carolina and UConn, and I look forward to watching that game too. But we'll see. First, UConn's got to get by Arizona. It's not going to be any. They're there for a reason. I don't know much about them, but they're there for a reason. And the coach at Stanford has been around for forever. She's leading in history now for the numbers of wins that she's won. She passed a belated Pat Summitt, dear Pat Summitt from Tennessee.
Yeah.
But all of those records are going to be down because Gino Orama is going to keep coaching, and he's going to keep winning 30 games a year forever. So it's good to see good coaching, good solid basketball, good kids. The girls blow up every once in a while, but you got to expect it. I mean, that little Paige Bucher's girl, she's a player. I started watching her. I actually started reading about her last year when I first knew that she was going to commit to UConn. And then I said, well, if she committed to UConn right off the bat, I got to check her out.
Yeah.
So I checked her, and she's an absolute killer. So I said, well, she'll come into the college game, and they'll bump her around a little bit, and she'll do this, and she'll do that. Maybe she'll be okay. Well, what does she do? She's the AP Player of the Year for the women as a freshman. Amazing. She's a hell of a player, great shooter. And I look for UConn. I look for UConn to take it all, but I'm not going to say that for certain. I want to see if they get by, see how they play against Arizona, and see if they get by Arizona, and then we'll see what's left. But anytime you're coaching against Gino Auriemma, you better be careful, because he'll throw something at you.
Yeah, well, and the cool thing is, looking at this, and, UConn is, even in years where they may feel down or look like, they're not as good at times, or there's a question of can they? I mean, they barely got past Baylor, the 2 seed, 69-67. But at the end of the day, UConn, it's normal to see them here. In UConn's worst year, they're in the Final Four. And that's saying something. And you got to think about it like this. Gino Auriemma's got something on Coach Boeheim, Coach K, Roy Williams, Tom Izzo, John Calipari, and on and on and on and on and on. Because he goes to the Final Four every year. He doesn't go 2 years in a row. He doesn't go once a decade. He goes all the time. And, Gino is he's fantastic. And he recruits in such a way that is so hard to keep up with him because of how good he is in recruiting. He's just a phenomenal, phenomenal recruiter, and people want to play for him, and they want to go there. And, these women, it's a dream of theirs to play at this university. And so to have that, he's always going to have a leg up on everyone because of what he's built. And for as long as he's there, he's going to have that. But, shout out to Stanford and a shout out to South Carolina for rising as well. Number 1 seeds as well. NC State out of the ACC didn't make it. NC State won their first game against NC A&T, and then they won their second game against South Florida, and then they fell in the Sweet 16 round to Indiana, 73-70, who was the number 4 seed. So they got bumped out early for a 1. And then, Arizona rises through. Arizona was able to come through this thing and take care of Stony Brook, which is right up here in the state of New York. And then they went on from there to defeat BYU and then took down Indiana, who had taken down NC State for the right to go to the Final Four. So we got 3 number 1s and a 3. And something that, Papa Joe, and since you love watching the women's game, I want to bring this up because I think it's an unfair knock on women's basketball. And I know we're talking about opening day here, but we're talking about a little bit of sports and life and everything. And there's not enough talk about women's basketball. So as long as we want to talk about it, we're going to. What can you say about when people say that it's boring, that the same teams make it, that UConn's always going to advance, so why watch it until the end, or that the number 1 seeds always do it, where in the men's game, the number 1 seeds, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. What's your response? What's your reaction to the argument that women's basketball is boring because the good teams always make it to the end?
Well, you got to appreciate, first of all, you got to appreciate the coaches and the players. I mean, it's not easy to do what these people do. Dawn Staley down at South Carolina, she's been coming on for years now, and she's about ready to match Gino face to face with some serious players. I mean, she's got 4 or 5 stars that have already signed with her for next year. So these are legitimate players. And look when you watch the game of basketball, you either watch the game above the rim with the boys or you watch it below the rim with the girls. I prefer that because I like good, tough defense. Now, the Connecticut Baylor game, they tried to rough up Connecticut, and the referees let them play. And, of course, there was a foul. Maybe there was a foul at the end of the game, but it wasn't called. They were letting them play. And that little Beakers girl, she got the heck kicked out of her by Baylor. I mean, they played tough. They played rough and tough. but they got through it, and that's what I want to see. I want to see hard screens. I want to see pick and rolls. I want to see good 3-point shooting. I want to see good foul shooting, and they play it below the rim, and they play it with gusto. And I love the women's game. I just love college basketball for women.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, seeing this, and women have been fighting for so long to find equality in so many things, the right to vote, obviously in the workplace, and we're still fighting for women to have equality in sports. PJ, we're in 2021. Not that this should have ever happened, but for all this time to go by, do you feel that it's a disgrace that the NCAA has not treated men's and women's basketball the same?
Oh, of course they have. How many times do we have to say the names of Tara Vandiver and Pat Summick and Dawn Staley and Gino Armarema? When you bring those names up, that is college basketball for right there for women. And every one of these coaches are striving to get their players to get the best possible facilities too. Things are not equal for women, and it's unfortunate. But if you go to let's say you go to University of Florida and you look at the weight room. Well, the ladies got a pretty good deal over down there too. But I read, I think it was a Stanford coach that said, the facilities for men and women are different. We don't get anything near what the men do. The men have all these multi-$1,000 gyms laid out with all the weights and stuff like that, and the women don't get anything. I remember, I don't know if Gino still does this, but in order for him to get his team ready to play either a good team or get the season ready, or for perhaps even maybe for the Final Four here, he has his girls scrimmage against the UConn men's team. Not only that, put 6 guys in there, and let's see what happens. And that's one of the reasons why Gino Arema is so smart. He can do things like this, and when they flip over to play a women's team, it looks easy for them. It seems easy for them. But when you can play against the men's team of the school that you're at, you're doing okay. Look, the women's coaches are all wonderful. I like the guy at Louisville. There's so many. You are correct in saying that most of the teams don't measure up to the teams that we talk about all the time. But in the last 10 years, that has progressively gotten better. And the reason I say that is because UConn has not won a championship since 2016. Go figure that. 5 years in a row, even though they've got to the Final Four, they haven't won a championship. Why? Because the other teams are catching up to Gino. Except for this year, I'm not so sure that anyone can touch him this year. But I'm looking forward to the games, and I always have. And anytime I can catch, I even watch women's softball. Softball's exciting to me too. So what?
Yeah.
What can I tell you?
But that's the thing. Appreciating all sports, and a sport is a sport is a sport is a sport. Basketball is basketball, and I grew up loving playing the game my entire life. I still love the game so very much, and I don't care who plays it. Seriously, the reality of it all to me is I just want to see a good game. And I think, people are, UConn wins by 40. You know what I mean? If you're a UConn fan, it's great. If you're not, it's like being a Patriots fan. The Patriots are winning all these Super Bowls. People get lethargic about, it's so boring. People said the San Antonio Spurs were one of the most boring teams ever in the history of the NBA. And they were going to the championship all the time. And I was like, I'll take boring any day if I'm playing in the championship game. So if I'm Gino Auriemma, if I'm anybody going to UConn, I'm sitting pretty. I'm loving it. Hey, think we're boring. Think that this is ridiculous. Think that this is, we win by 40. Yeah, you don't want to watch. You know what I mean? I just think it's an excuse. And I think that, people really need to get to know the women's game because there's so many great people within it, just like there's great people within the men's game. And it's just the reality. Society kind of has told people over time what to do, and they told people that men's sports were better than women's sports back in the day, and people still carry that moniker. They carry that belief that's based in nothing, rooted in nothing. And some of the best games, I'll tell you like this, if you're not going to watch Stanford, South Carolina, UConn, Arizona, you're going to miss some good games. And so if that's your decision, that's your decision. But on Friday night, my butt will be planted watching these games, and I'm going to enjoy it because I respect everything that they've done, and I want to see who's going to take the championship. I want to see what Arizona can do against UConn, and Stanford and South Carolina is that. I mean, to me, that's whoever wins is got to bring a force to UConn. I'm thinking in my mind, but I just want to see it. I want to watch it. I want to live in it because I love basketball. So. With that being said, we respect the women and we hope the best for them as always. And equality is not a thought. Equality is not a choice. Equality should be a right. So let's not look at this thing and say, well, maybe someday. No, how about today? How about yesterday? So with that being said, PJ, as we move from the court to the field, what are you most excited about with opening day today for baseball?
Well, just to get the games started. Last year was a mess. The pandemic's caused all sorts of problems, and it's still going to cause a problem because there are some teams that are testing positive now for some of their players, and those players won't be able to play. So I'm looking to see how that's going to shake out. But in order to start the season out, it always has to be one of the bad guys, and of course that's the Yankees. The Yankees. Well, first of all, let me tell you something. I just came across this morning. Francisco Lindor of the Mets signed a 10-year, $341 million contract with the Mets.
Yeah.
Now, we know what Mookie Betts and Mike Trout and all these guys have signed big contracts. Well, what people don't understand, it's a lot of money. Let's face it, it's way too much money, okay? But what people don't understand is these teams have their own TV station and radio stations to telecast their games. They make millions of dollars on revenue from advertising, and they don't stop. Why do you think that Mike Trout can play for $500 million in Los Angeles? Because they own their own station over there. Even my Brewers are doing well. My Brewers signed Jackie Bradley, who is a hell of a player, and they got their own network too with Bob Uecker. So even though these are outrageous numbers and the normal person can't understand me, even I can't understand. I mean, if I try to put a pencil to them, I can't figure it out. But all I want to do is watch baseball. But when I start throwing the ball around, I start hitting the ball around. Yeah. All that stuff is in second place. It's back in the hamper somewhere. It's time to ready to go. You got the Blue Jays at the Yankees. You got one of the best pitchers in baseball going with Garrett Cole. And I don't know if you want to face Garrett Cole at Yankee Stadium at 40 degrees, because two things are going to happen. Number one, you're going to spin around like a top on some of his changeup, and if you happen to hit one of his fastballs, your hands are going to sting like all get-go, boy. You don't want to play baseball in the cold when you have to face a power pitcher. Yeah. Because if you try to hit him, your hands are going to break. I mean, it's just unfortunate, but it'll be a great game. Toronto's pitcher is the guy that came from I can't even pronounce his name. It's Hyen Jinru or something like that. Anyway, he came from the Dodgers 2 years ago, and he's a real strength for the Blue Jays. George Springer, who will open the season on the injury list, unfortunately, but he signed a big deal from Houston to Toronto. Toronto's going to be a good team. Marcus Semien is going to be there too. He used to play for Oakland. They must have signed him for a free agent. I must have missed that one. But anyway, those are two really, really classy players. They're going to bring the Blue Jays up to snuff. So, you start the very first game starts out. It's going to have controversy already. Whether it's 45 degrees in New York and you're trying to hit a fastball at 100 miles an hour, it's going to be controversial. So I'm looking forward to it. At 1 o'clock, I'll be in front of the TV, and we'll see if the Yankees bad boys can knock off the new look Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. The cool thing about this opening day is that all 30 teams are going to be activated, God willing. And seeing them all from 1 o'clock, 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time, that Blue Jays-Yankees game, and ending with the 10:10 p.m. Eastern Time San Francisco Giants up against the Seattle Mariners. So we will essentially have opening day end on April 2nd. More than likely, game goes a couple hours. That's where we're going to see it. So we'll start on April 1st. We'll end on April 2nd with all 30 teams in action. The Texas Rangers at 4:10 p.m. Eastern Time will play up against the Kansas City Royals. Here's some news. Now, the Texas Rangers have stated they're going to open their stadium to full capacity. Now, it's been said by the President of the United States. It's funny how they said the last president shouldn't get involved in sports. Now this president's getting involved in sports. So both parties got to decide whether or not their president should get involved in sports. But right now, whatever party you are, President Joe Biden, just so you know, baseball fans, has made the statement that he thinks it's a mistake that the Texas Rangers are opening their stadium to full capacity. The Rangers Globe Life Field, which can seat 40,300 people, is the only Major League Baseball stadium that will allow 100% crowd capacity on its opening day. Biden said, quote, "Well, that's a decision they made. I think it's a mistake. They should listen to Dr. Anthony Fauci and the scientists and the experts, but I think it's not responsible," end quote. Now, fans will be required to wear masks in the stadium for the Rangers, except when eating or drinking, which is the same everywhere else. After the April 5th home opener against the Toronto Blue Jays, certain parts of Globe Life Field will have distanced seating sections that will have more space between occupied seats. When asked how he would advise players who might feel hesitant about receiving the COVID vaccine, Biden said, "I would say I'm President of the United States and I got vaccinated. I don't have an unimportant job. Would I take the vaccine if I thought it was going to hurt me? We have done incredible research on the vaccines. They have shown that they work. We have to get to the point where enough people have taken the vaccine so we diminish the possibility for it to spread," end quote. So, what are your thoughts that the White House is telling the Texas Rangers we disagree with your decision to open to full capacity?
The Rangers got a little bit of time. They're opening up at the Royals today, which is in Kansas City.
Yeah.
So I know their home opener is 4th or 5th or 6th or something like that. So they're going to have to debate with the president maybe on the airways for 3 or 4 days before they can get their home opener. But, Biden is not a Trump. Trump would be all over the place. He'd be yelling baseball lists. He'd be wanting to go to the games and wear his little mega hat and things like that. But Biden is not that way. He's different. I mean, I don't know why he's even opening up his trap. This is after what the country went through last year with all sports and life. We should be thankful that everything is on tap to open today. Now, of course, you can chastise the teams for opening too early, which I do all the time. You don't need to be playing in Chicago at April 1st. It just not make any sense.
Yeah.
Now the Brewers have got a covered stadium, but there's going to be snow on the ground in a few places. So what? I mean, you got to get through a couple of weeks before the sun shines up there anyway, including in Syracuse. So all I want to do is watch baseball. I don't want to get into the politics of it. I watch the game for the beauty of the game. I watch the players because I know them. I know what they're capable of doing, and that's all I want to do is watch the games. I don't want to listen to Joe Biden or no one else. I don't care about what they say. All I want to do is watch baseball.
Well, that's my thing. Is politicians stay out of sports. We go to sports to get away from you. That's what we do. What'd you say?
Bring the Donald back.
But it's like, we go to sports to get away from politics. That's why I don't watch the news. I focus on positivity. The news is not positive. So it's just, to me, I just go over here. Sports, I think most sports fans would say, whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, Moose Party, Cupcake, Teacups, whatever you want to call whatever is this, I think that people understand that the reality of it all is, when it comes to sports, I want to turn a game on. I don't want to hear about the Kardashians. I don't want to hear about politics. I don't want to hear about Survivor. I don't want to hear about the VH1 top 10 greatest hit music. I want to see baseball. I want to talk about baseball. I want to know about baseball. That's it. Now, we can talk about other stuff and have fun and joke around, yes. But
That's right.
Most people, just leave the politics out of it. Greg said, and I want to go back to this point, so I'm happy that he wrote this in. Greg said, best shortstop in baseball has proved it. As a lifelong Met fan, I'm on cloud nine that my favorite pro baseball franchise is spent up to get the best player at the position in his prime. Opening day is finally here. PJ, we talked about how Fernando Tatis Jr., the Padres, had the third highest contract ever signed in baseball history with $340 million. Do you think that Francisco Lindor had a little discussion with the Mets saying, he made 340, I got to beat him and be in the top three because he's getting 341? So do you think that Francisco said, hey, I saw what Fernando got, you do me a little bit better and I'll sign this contract? It's because you look at it and it's Mike Trout, $426.5 million, Mookie Betts, $365, and then it was Tatis, $340, and now Lindor, $341, is now above him. So what do you think about that? Do you think Francisco maybe went into the Mets front office and said, hey guys, I'm going to sign this contract, but we got to sweeten the pot just a little bit, throw another mil on there, and I'm going to make this happen because I got to beat Fernando, because when him and I have a beer this season, I got to let him know who the guy is.
That's true. But I'm not sure these guys speak English, Daniel. I'm not sure that Tatis speak English, but that's another thing that gripes me. Although I shouldn't bring it up, but these players come over and from the Dominican Republic and everything, and they're not taught English until later on. But they should have a working language, working use of the language before they sign $341 million contract. But there's a little give and take in there, and these contracts are grotesque. They're top heavy. They're awful. But when I see Francisco Lindor at the plate, he's a switch hitting shortstop that is par excellence. He's a fabulous player, a great young player. Tatis is much bigger than Lindor, and therefore he hits more home runs. Tatis will be the face. I'm going to say this now, and you heard it first on April 1st, 2021, from Papa J.
Yeah.
Fernando Tatis will be the face of baseball for the next 10 years. He's going to take over for Mike Trout, and he's going to take over the valley over there in California. Imagine going to be able to watch the Dodgers and the Angels. I'm going to be able to watch them on my TV. I'm going to have a whip around thing. I'm going to be going crazy. I know I'm excited, but I just want to be able to see baseball, and I want to see these guys live up to their contracts and play. I don't have any problem with them earning the money.
Jeff, how does this deal come together?
Yeah, and I think the thing is, them coming from all over the world is a beautiful thing. And what it's done to baseball, whether they're coming from, Haiti or the Dominican or Japan or wherever these players are coming from, they have, when we call it the World Series, I think it has to live up to that. I think America, we think that we have the best of the best, but when you call something a world championship, you better be playing the world. And because of the fact that, Major League Baseball has done that they have reached out and found talent all over the world, it is a world championship. So for Francisco, for Fernando, for everybody, no matter what language is your primary language, where you came from, where you were born, and whatnot, some of these guys were born into literally nothing. So to have the money that they have right now, they could probably go back home and buy their country. So, to me, it's a beautiful testament to a sport that they love. Yeah, these contracts are massive. They're huge. They're incredible. And I can't even imagine, this kind of money someday. But, I can't even imagine this. But I'm so proud that, we have a sport that says we're going to be the World Series, and you actually have talent from around the world. Because I very, and I know I don't talk about this a lot on the show, when somebody calls something a world champion, I'm like, we won in America. We're not the world champion. If we're going to be the world champion, we have to play the world. And, in the case of baseball, we are playing the world and bringing the best of the best into this country sometimes. Sometimes maybe we're missing out on somebody and can bring somebody in later on. But it's a beautiful thing to see that that baseball has this talent and that, it's spread out. Because when I was growing up as a kid, they were all on the Yankees. And, they were on the Braves. I mean, the Braves had a fantastic rotation. It was insane, the pitching rotation the Braves had, the players that the Yankees had. and it was just it was so top heavy on the Yankees side. But now, with Mike Trout not being an Angel, Mookie Betts, Francisco Lindor, Fernando Tatis Jr., look at these guys. All four of these gentlemen, Bryce Harper fifth. I mean, these guys are playing. And when you look at the top 8 contracts here that have been signed, largest contracts in MLB history, only one of them is a Yankee contract. Garrett Cole, $324 million. Everybody else is on a different team. So you got the Padres, you have the Marlins, the Philly. I mean, teams you wouldn't expect to hear from in the past having these big-time contracts and guys staying there like the Marlins and the Padres. So to me, it's good for baseball. To me, it's awesome to see. And it's so great to know that all of these players are spread out so that we can really, really get to see what the league looks like and not just in the past. And this is not a knock on Yankee fans, but it's good to see that, the Yankees haven't bought all these players and brought them over. And with that being said, PJ, we will talk about something going off of that statement in just a minute. So, Greg, what else did Greg say? Tatis certainly is an incredible talent. Exciting to see what San Diego does in a full season. No doubt about it, Dan. So we'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, PJ and I will discuss a little something coming off of when I used to say that a ton of those players were on the Yankees. Well, remember back in the day when rosters didn't change from year to year? And you knew for a really long time, you knew for years who the Yankees were going to be in rotation. We'll talk about that and if the game has lost something by not having that. As I started this discussion with a baseball coach last night at Avicoli's when we were doing our live show for Liverpool Warriors boys volleyball. He's also the head coach of the baseball team with the volleyball team, and that is Fred Terzini. And so him and I spoke about the Yankees, and we spoke about back in the day how the roster didn't really change. We'll talk about now how baseball is so different and what it's done to the game right after this.
Avicoli's Restaurant, located right at the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road, is proud to be your local neighbor, growing with you for over 20 years. We're open 7 days a week for lunch, dinner, and drinks. For takeout, delivery, or catering, call us at 315-622-5100. When you order online and use our promo code AVS10, you will save 10% on your online purchase at myavicolis.com. And make sure to join us monthly for our live on-site broadcasts centered around Liverpool athletics. Avicoli's, your local, trusted neighbor right at the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road.
Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand butter our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Yes, dear.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, where you're listening. You're watching on Facebook Live on facebook.com/live-now-dt, and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. So very happy to have you here and excited to be inside of the Cafe Coupal Studios to finally be talking about the ushering in of baseball. And look at this shirt that your man is rocking right now. This was bought for me as a gift. Got the Arizona Diamondbacks logo, as I am a Diamondbacks fan first, and it has the Avengers around it. So we have Falcon, we have Iron Man, these two, we got Spider-Man, we have Hawkeye, and we have Thor. And so, I mean, this is the true embodiment of me, right? Superpowered Pop meets Wake Up Call, two of my shows. Baseball meets the Avengers, so very excited to have it. Greg said, the Major League Baseball embraces that it certainly is a global sport and accepting of all cultures into the melting pot that is baseball. And that is very, very true. That's why I love it. So I'm very happy to see it and definitely excited for today being opening day. PJ and I are talking about something that, like I said, it was a discussion that started with Fred Terzini, the head coach of Liverpool baseball as well as Liverpool boys volleyball, about how in the past you knew who the rosters were. You know, the Yankees were the Yankees. The next day, the next year, the next 2 years, the next 5 years. I knew the rotation growing up, which is what gave me an opportunity to like them. Because, you know, my second favorite team has been the Yankees growing up. You know, soft spot for the Mets, soft spot for the Yankees. My team, my dominant team, obviously, is the Diamondbacks. But I always paid attention to to the Yankees because of my grandfather and my dad. So, you know, shout out to Ralph Daniel Tortora Jr. and the third. So, you know, for me, I had the opportunity to get to know the Yankees because their roster didn't change. PJ, we live in a world now where rosters consistently change. There's movement in baseball more so than there was in the past, and there's not a lot of loyalty, so to speak. So what can you tell me about what it's done to the game? Has it affected the game in a negative or positive way, in your opinion? that, we used to know who the teams were. We used to know a lineup, and that lineup didn't change. I remember being a kid in elementary school at Our Lady of Pompeii here in central New York, and, like, if in third grade, here were the Yankees. In fifth grade, they were the same Yankees for the most part. What has it done to sports? What has it done to baseball that we don't really have that anymore?
Oh, that's a tough question. The dollar has changed the game, and the free agency and the contracts that I told you about that are made from the teams that have their own cable system, wherever they're in Los Angeles or Baltimore or St. Louis or Chicago. That's where the income's coming. And if they want to spend the money of $341 million for Linder, that's great. Now, when I was watching Francisco Linder grow up and play baseball for Cleveland, I thought, damn, this kid's going to be a rock for this team forever. And what happens?
Yeah.
They couldn't sign him to another deal. Cleveland lost several players this year, even though they got the reigning Cy Young Award and Shane Bieber. They're losing their good players, and it's for a reason. It's because they can't afford them. Now, Cleveland certainly should have their own cable station to do the games and get the revenue from advertising. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know why they couldn't pull the trigger on Linder, but he's a sensational player, and the Mets are going to be all power to it. So, let the Mets let the Mets cable vision people pay for them. I look at some of the games today. I'm trying to get through here. The next game up is a 2:00 game, the Orioles at the Red Sox. Now, the Red Sox are a little bit different this year, too, because they lost their center fielder, Jackie Bradley, to my Brewers. They're still very potent. They're a very strong team. Nathan Eovaldi's going to be pitching today. He usually starts the season for them. The Orioles are going to get back a guy who is a really, really good guy. His name is Trey Mancini. Plays the infield, played first base, I think. He was out last year for cancer, and he's coming back now this year. He's starting out. He's ready to go. So his first game in well over a year is going to be against the Red Sox and the Orioles. So that's going to be it'll be tug at your heartstrings there for a while at 2:00 until you try to hit an Eovaldi 100-mile-an-hour fastball. I got the Twins at the Brewers. My Brewers are ready to rock and roll. They're the ones that got Jackie Bradley from Boston, and they're the ones that are going to be all powerful. Now, as you know, I'm Milwaukee with everything, and even Green Bay. But when you look at Christian Yelich play baseball, he plays baseball differently than other players on his team.
Yeah.
Maybe even so in his league. This kid is so gifted that even Miami couldn't figure out how to use him when they had him. How could you have someone like Christian Yelich in your ballpark in Miami and not get the kid to play potentially? He left, came to the Brewers. The rest is history. Won the MVP 2 years ago, and he's gonna start this year. Listen, Yelich needs to start out fast. That's what my biggest beef with Yelich is. Sometimes he doesn't catch up to the ball that well, but it's going to be a good game. Twins are rock solid almost every year. The Twins have a new shortstop here. Andrelton Simmons used to be with the Angels, and the Angels lost him to the Twins, so we're good with that one. Ryan Braun won't be able to play this today. First time he hasn't played in something like 13 years. Ryan Braun is past his prime. He certainly is. This will probably be his last year if he's not released before the end of the year. That's what I'm hearing about up there with my bros. I got the Pirates at the Cubs. Cubs are always a fun team to watch. Derek Lee, Mark Grace over the years. They got Anthony Rizzo now, Chris Bryant, Kyle Schwarber. They lost to another team this year. So you got the Pirates in there. Not much. They don't have much at all. The pitching for the Cubs is Kyle Hendricks. Kyle Hendricks can't break a pane of glass. yet he wins 15 games every year. He strikes out 10 guys a game.
Yeah.
He's got a changeup that borders on 70 miles an hour and a slider that's about 75. His fastball barely will crack 85, but that's not how good he is. He's good because he can keep hitters off balance, and that's what he does very well. He'll be starting today against the Pirates, and really shouldn't have any problem with the Pirates lineup. You got the Braves at the Phillies. Braves, top team in the South this year. Strong team always. Freddie Freeman, most valuable player, or one of the most valuable players. He'll be rocking and rolling. You know, when you think about the Braves, you think about one player, and that's Hank Aaron, or Chipper Jones, or someone like that. You know, and it's good to see the Braves continually win year in, year out. I remember 15 years ago when Greg Maddux, John Smoltz, and Tom Glavine pitched for the Atlanta Braves. They won their division something like 9 years in a row, but they only won one World Series. But every year you can count on those three pitchers carrying the team, and they're trying to get back to that now. You got the Dodgers at the Rockies. This is going to be a hell of a game for me to watch. The Rockies made a huge error in not signing Nolan Arenado. He lost them to the St. Louis Cardinals. You just don't lose a player like him. Now, he signed a $250 million contract. I mean, Colorado could have done that to keep the guy there, but he didn't. I mean, how can you not keep Nolan Arenado? I don't get it. So, anyway, they wind up facing the Dodgers on their very first game this year. And, Clayton Kershaw is going to be starting, so it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a 4 o'clock game. I can't wait to see that. I'm a big Kershaw fan anyway. It seems like that Los Angeles, San Diego, places like that are really stepping up this year. I mentioned last week that the National League is going to go through either San Diego or Los Angeles because it's in the National League West. Everything is going to go through those two teams. I wouldn't be surprised if they wind up playing each other for the whole deal. Of course, it can't because they're not American League, but Clayton Kershaw is going to be a pleasure to watch again, as usual. You got the D-backs are playing the Padres.
Yeah.
You got Madison Bumgarner going tonight. However, the Padres got an ace in the sleeve too. They got Yu Darvish, and he used to pitch for the Dodgers, or not the Cubs last year. So you bring in Darvish, you bring in all these good players for the Padres, like Tatis and his buddies.
Yeah.
They look like they're a lot. And not only that, they got Blake Snell from Tampa Bay. Blake Snell was a Cy Young Award winner for Tampa Bay. You have Blake Snell, you got Joe Musgrave, and you got Madison Bumgarner, you got Darvish, you got all these guys, all these players, all these good players for the Padres are going to make your D-bads look pretty sorry, bud. You know what I mean? You got the Cardinals and the Reds.
Yeah.
Cardinals, new look Cardinals, because they got Nolan Arenado, one of the best players in baseball, going to anchor third base forever. Yadier Molina, 17th season for Molina. You don't give guys like Molina, for instance, or Mike Trout, or Clayton Kershaw. These players that we're talking about, these three right here, and there are other ones out there too, I just can't think of them. They will play for one team their entire career. Mike Trout will never go anywhere. Neither will Kershaw, and neither will Molina. Molina's 17th year. He's a Hall of Fame catcher, and he's still playing at a high level for the Reds, or the Cardinals. I mean, you got the Rangers at the Royals. We talked about the Rangers a little bit earlier. I think both teams are going to be kind of weak this year. They lost the players. I know Benintendi was a first baseman for Boston, and they lost him to the Royals. So that'll be interesting to find out. You got the Rays at the Marlins. There's no team in baseball that plays the game any better than Tampa Bay, and they do it on a shoestring budget. As I mentioned to you last week, their payroll for opening day is going to be less than $85 million. I mean, you got a journeyman first baseman from such and such is going to make $85 million at a 5-year contract.
Yeah.
You know, so go figure. I mean, it's ridiculous. But they play the game right. They just got a terrible place to play. It's awful. They got the Mets at the Nationals. This game, I'm not gonna miss this game. You got Jacob deGrom and Matt Shears are going at it again. These guys, these are Cy Young Award winners, multiple Cy Young Award winners, and it just, I get chills when I think about two super teams and pitchers that are possibly Hall of Fame pitchers throwing against each other again. Absolutely exciting. I'll be crying when this game starts. You got the White Sox at the Angels.
Yeah.
My Angels, what can I tell you? You know, I mean, the Angels have got Mike Trout and the rest of the team. So, you know, they got the guy from Washington. I'll think of his name. Anyway, you know, you live and die with Mike Trout. If you get him out a couple times in the lineup, your chances are you're going to win the game. You got the Astros at the Athletics. The Astros are coming off a hard time because they've lost Garrett Cole, and they're feeling it now.
Yeah.
And it's not getting any easier for the Astros because they are still facing the kickback from when they cheated in the World Series. So I don't know how that's going to play out. I remember talking to someone about, you know, when the season starts, the other team will plunk one of the hitters on the Astros. That's just to let you know that we haven't forgot about you guys cheating. So just take your base and we'll keep playing the game. So I look for the Astros to try to bounce back a little bit. But they did lose George Springer, who was an all-pro, and he lost him to Toronto. You got the Giants and the Mariners. We don't get to see those teams very much over here. But I do follow Buster Posey because he's a Florida State guy. He's been a catcher for Giants for, 10 years, I think. He's another Hall of Fame player. I don't know if his legs are going to hold up anymore, though. I think they'll probably have to do something with him somewhere. You got Brandon Crawford, his 10th year, playing shortstop. Sensational player, great player. But San Francisco just, once they lost Bumgarner, I think they lost an awful lot. And Bumgarner was their World Series hero. They won 3 World Series with Bumgarner. Of course, now he's playing for your boys, Arizona over there. So let's see what happens there. You know, that's going around the league in the games real quick, just to give the folks an idea of what's happening, and maybe follow your favorite player and try to find out what time things are on. And if you're lucky like me with a major league ballpark package, I'm going to put on my TV and I'm going to have 8 games going at the same time, Daniel.
Yeah.
4 on top and 4 on the bottom.
Yeah, you know, and it's a beautiful thing. It's something that people do with football as well. You know, it's you get the opportunity to put yourself in front of the television and kind of feel like you're in the Matrix because you get to watch everything at the same time. So it is a beautiful thing. I know you're going to enjoy it. I know it was a gift well thought of and well spent from Mary T to you. And, you know, so I can't imagine what she's going to be doing while you're watching all this baseball. So will Mary sit and watch it with you for a little bit? Or, you know, I know it's cooler down there. I was going to say if it was hot outside, she could do the pool while you do baseball. But what's Mary doing when you're watching 8 games at once?
Well, Mary never sits down, Daniel. She's always moving around. She's doing this, she's doing that. It's hard for me to sit her down to eat dinner for 30 minutes. I mean, she's constantly moving. But she will. She won't miss anything. She'll peek around the corner and she'll say, is Trump up yet, Trout out yet, or is Linder still playing shortstop over there? Yeah, she knows the players, and she knows. I'll be sitting on my couch, and she'll just buzz behind me and say, how are the game's going? Fine. She said, are you happy? I said, I'm very happy. Of course, I got all these games. Who wouldn't be happy?
Yeah.
Well, look, all 30 teams are scheduled to be in action, so
yeah,
it's going to be a jam-packed schedule, and there's going to be a lot of good baseball. I just don't think that, what did I mention earlier? Is it Someone was at Detroit. Who is it going to be at Detroit? But anyway, can you imagine trying to play an opening day in Detroit, April 1st? You're almost in Canada, for Christ's sake, and you're going to want to try to play baseball. I wanted to see, Daniel, look up and see what the temperature is of Detroit right now and see if it's snowing.
All right, so Detroit, Michigan, currently, hold on one second. Detroit, Michigan's weather is 29 degrees and 29.
29.
And it's supposed to be cloudy with a potential, it looks like a chance of snow. Let me look into this really quick here. So it's going to be 29 degrees, 34 is the high, scattered snow showers during the morning, then partly to mostly cloudy this afternoon. Their high is 34. The wind will be north-northwest, 15 to 25 miles an hour. Higher wind gusts are possible.
Oh, boy. I don't know if they'll play that game. I don't know if they'll play that game.
Well, they're going to have to they're going to have to figure it out as far as the Yankees. Let's look at what the Yankees got here. The Yankees have a freeze watch, but it'll be 53 degrees today for the Yankees. Good. Chance of rain is 100%. So
100% rain?
100% rain, yep. Breaks of sun. Well, no, it's breaks of sun in the afternoon, so they might be able to get away with it. So, so 53 for the Yankees, 34 for Detroit. And that's what I said. That's why I feel like it's April Fool's when they say that today's opening day. I'm like, it can't be opening day today. But I do want to, before I let you go, I want to let you know that it's 37 degrees is the high for Syracuse today. So we're going to be 3 degrees higher than Detroit. But in Syracuse, Italy, I want to just for some juxtaposition here, I want to tell you what the weather's going to be like there. So it's going to be 37 degrees here, and in Italy, it is going to be 51, and their weather from here on out is going to be 69, 66, 64, plenty of sun. So what I'm getting at here, PJ, is you and I should be watching baseball's opening day from Italy today.
I know. Well, I'm excited, and I hope you have a good rest of the show with your man Ross, and talk some baseball. Is he a good baseball guy?
He is. He played baseball in college. He's a massive, massive baseball fan. Huge baseball fan.
Yep.
So we'll have fun.
Right.
So that coming from PJ, giving us a lowdown on his thoughts on opening day of baseball. He'll be sitting in front of the TV like so many, watching every game at the exact same time. Papa Joe, I want you to tell me how many times you actually get up from the couch today. I think it'll be, I'm gonna put, since you're a betting man, I'm gonna say 10 or less.
Get up 10 times?
Yeah.
Hell no, Daniel. I won't get up 5 times.
That's right. I'm trying to make money. I told you I'm a betting man. You're a betting man. I'm trying to make the cash. So with that coming from Papa Joe, I'll talk with you very soon. Our men's and women's basketball in the Final Four. We talked about that. We'll be watching those, watching baseball, and so much coming up this weekend. PJ, as always, stay safe, stay well, and I'll talk with you soon.
All right, thanks. See you later. Bye.
Take care. That coming from Papa Joe in hour number 1, sinking into, or I should say, bleeding into hour number 2. And we're going to take a step aside as we get ready to have Mr. Ross Turetsky on the broadcast coming up here in just a minute. So we'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, Ross will be joining us inside of the Cafe Kubal studios as he will give his take on baseball's opening day and all of his thoughts right after this.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cubal needs. Cafe Cubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Proud to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where sports meets that thing called life. I hope you're having yourselves a fantastic day today as we are into April, believe it or not. And it is not April Fools, folks. It is April. It did snow outside in central New York. It is a chance of snow in Detroit, who is supposed to have their opening day game today. So very interesting here on April Fool's Day that it seems like a joke that it's opening day while it's still snowing. It seems like a joke that it's still snowing. But for those of you that live in central and upstate New York, you know that last year we had snow all the way to and past Mother's Day. I think it was 2 days after Mother's Day we had our last snowfall. And we might have gotten something even after that. So pretty insane, pretty crazy, but happy to be here as always. We thank you so much for being a part of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. Want to let you know as we get ready to have Ross on the broadcast today that you can tune in live to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You'll get us here on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT. On YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, as well as on MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.com. And you can search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in our archives to pull up our shows. If you missed something or you just want to go back, you have one of your favorites, these archives go all the way back to 2012. So the chances that maybe you missed something or you want to go back and catch something, they're all over there for you from 2012 to now. So of the last 9 years, you can go back and listen on Stitcher, Spotify, MixLR, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and iTunes and Apple Podcasts, and Podbean, which has the most extensive library of over 1,500 shows available to you. So make sure you don't miss out on your opportunity to search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on any one of those avenues and picking up our show there. A special thanks to all of our partners in central and upstate New York for Cafe Cubal, Carvel DeWitt, Wildcat Sports Pub, Honda City of Liverpool, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Avicoli's, where you can use the online promo code. We were there last night, actually, with a jam-packed house thanks to the amazing Liverpool Warriors fandom, their wonderful, wonderful community of supporters for the Liverpool Warriors, student-athletes. Thank all the parents, all of the boosters, the alumni, everybody that's gotten themselves involved, the coaches and the players. So really do appreciate you all coming out to Avicoli's every single month, and especially last night. We had a fantastic show. Literally, Jan, there was not a seat in the house that we had open because of you. So thank you for that. Avicoli's, myavicolis.com. That's AVICOLL is.com. Go there and use the promo code AVS10 for 10% off your online orders. Of course, a big thanks to Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Pizza Man, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, the Millhouse Market, worth the drive every time, and of course, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. Go to maandpaspopcorn.com and use the promo code DT20 and you'll get 20% off all your online orders, whether you're getting in-store pickup or having it delivered to you in any one of the 50 states. You can still get the DT20 code today, so make sure you use it today. DT20 for 20% off at maandpaspopcorn.com. This is opening day of baseball and our opening day special here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. I'm rocking the Arizona Diamondbacks shirt, but you see it's a little bit different. It's the Arizona Diamondbacks and also the Avengers, so it's A for Avengers and A for Arizona, which is pretty cool. As you know, that's the signature A that we see for the Avengers and the Diamondbacks A. Actually kind of looks a little bit similar here, how it's kind of sideways, so very fitting that I have a shirt like this, especially because I do an entertainment show called Superpowered Pop. And if you missed either one of our episodes we did for March, you can go back and watch those. They are available. They will be available on YouTube's. On YouTube, and we'll put that through all of our Superpowered Pop channels. That's at Superpowered Pop. You'll find that on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Of course, superpoweredpop.com. They'll be there as well with Green Goliath Toys and Games, which you should all go out and see. A Green Goliath located on 219 County Route 57 in Phoenix, New York, in the Three Rivers Plaza. And you definitely don't want to miss out on the opportunity of all the great stuff that they have there. So if you like sports cards, collectibles, literally so many things. There's things there that I've never seen anywhere else, and very rare stuff when it comes to Funko Pops and different things that they have. So make sure you go out there and check them out. And they just started getting in a nice line of sports cards that they've been looking to put out. So definitely head out to Green Goliath and definitely go back and watch our shows. We did one about Hulk Hogan and wrestling. We also did one about the Incredible Hulk recently here, so pretty cool. So with that being stated, we are in this special for opening day, and Ross will be joining us momentarily. I got another message that came in here. Enjoy opening day, PJ. It's certainly a special day. So nice words out to Papa Joe. And we love listening to the human machine gun of sports information. So I guess he's talking about PJ, the human machine gun of sports information. So when it comes to everything, baseball, hockey, football, basketball, Papa Joe is incredible. So he's definitely there's a reason why I got him on here. He is one of the greatest people I know, on and off the court, on and off the field. You know, in the sports world, Papa Joe is really, really good at what he does. But beyond that, he is a father figure. He's an incredible human being in my life, and they don't make him like they make PJ. So, you know, he is a truly amazing individual, and I love him very much. So, with that being said, the other side of it, as we hand it off, Mr. Ross Turetsky, a fellow broadcaster and writer who calls Northeast Pennsylvania home and used to call home the beautiful, wonderful New York City area, the boroughs, used to be out there as well. I have all the respect in the world, like I said, for Papa Joe. And used to call home also flows into Ross Turetsky and my appreciation for him, not just as someone in the sports world, but as a friend and in my mind and in my heart as a brother. So it is so very amazing every time we get to catch the airwaves together. And so Ross is here with us today. They said that one of the people listening in said, human machine gun of sports information. I think that's Papa Joe, and I think it's Ross. Two incredible people. And I'm so happy to have Ross here with me on opening day for hour number 2. So let's bring him in. Ross, how are we doing today?
I'm very good. Play ball, because there's 1, 2, 3 strikes. You're out at the old ball game. Are you ready for some baseball? Forget football. Forget basketball. Forget hockey. March Madness, it's over now. It's April 1st. We turn the calendar. It is baseball. You know I'm a crazy man because I've been taking countdowns to the start of baseball season since last October, when the season ended on October 27th, when the Los Angeles Dodgers broke their 32-year World Series drought, beat the Tampa Bay Rays in that World Series. Ever since that day, the next day, October 28th, I've been the sicko who's been giving you countdowns of when spring training, when pitchers and catchers were going to report to Florida and Arizona, when spring training games that don't even count were going to happen, and now, when opening day, April 1st, it's not an April Fool's joke, everyone. Happy April Fool's Day. It is April 1st. It is snowing in northeastern Pennsylvania, by the way. I have snow in my yard.
Yeah.
I figured in Syracuse you might have a blizzard for all I know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is snowing out there, but forget about it. As all us New Yorkers say, forget about it. It is April 1st. It is opening day. It is baseball. I don't care if the weather doesn't want to cooperate or if Mother Nature has other ideas. It's baseball time. I'm pumped. I'm jacked up for it. I'm very happy to be talking to my buddy here on the airwaves.
Yeah, and it's awesome. And, so how do you feel being called the human machine gun by one of my listeners?
I'm very flattered by that. I think that's awesome. It's better than all the other nicknames I was given as a kid. Fatso and Big Head, because I have a big egg head, and they would always tell me to duck down if I was sitting in the front of the classroom. So being called a human information machine, I'm all happy for it. And us Yankee fans are excited because we brought back DJ LeMahieu, our second baseman, and he's called the machine because all he does is get hits. He won a batting title last year, best batting average in baseball. So I'm very flattered by it, and we're just thrilled to be talking about baseball because last year, as we know, we were supposed to get ready for baseball. 2 weeks before opening day, got shut down because of this horrible pandemic.
Yeah.
And now there's light at the end of the tunnel. Vaccines are being given out. I know in New York they're going to be given out to everyone, I think eligible next week. Everyone in Pennsylvania is going to be eligible by April 19th. And by the end of May, supposedly everyone's going to be able to have access to them. So I've been vaccinated. Get vaccinated, and let's return to some normalcy so we can go to these games, hug our friends and family. I know I want to hug you, brother. You better watch out because I'm going to give you a big bear hug when I see you soon. I want to get back to normalcy. So let's do it. Let's get vaccinated, wear the mask until we have to, and let's be over with this horrible pandemic. And I'm so excited because, as I said last year, 2 weeks before opening day was shut down. We didn't start baseball until July 23rd last year, opening day for baseball. It was a short 2-month season. It was a tease for us baseball fans. We had expanded playoffs, but the whole season, even with playoffs, lasted 3 months. Us crazy baseball fans, hardcore fans, we won a 162-game season, full regular season, full playoffs, uninterrupted. So now from April 1st, October 3rd is the end of the regular season, so 6 months of baseball, and then playoffs until almost November. We won 7 straight months of baseball, us with the diehard fans, and now we get it. So last year, it was better than nothing during a pandemic, but it was a tease for us baseball fans. Very pumped to have a full season now.
Yeah, and it's definitely going to be something special. God willing, we can get it all off and done and ready to go. 30 teams all in action today.
We definitely won't take it for granted. I know that. We talked about that a couple weeks ago with our March Madness show. I won't take it for granted any of these special moments. And I know going to a Yankees game, we have tickets for May at Yankee Stadium. Rail Riders, our AAA team for the Yankees. You and Syracuse have the Mets AAA team. Yeah. Unfortunately, no Tim Tebow. He finally retired, but I love Tebow anyway. Whatever you have to do to get to some normalcy, I can't wait to take my little boy to a baseball game. He was born right during this pandemic, so he wasn't able to ever go to a baseball game. I'd love to get, the hot dog. I know it's corny that it is, but the Cracker Jacks, the hot dog, the plane take me out to the ball game, 7th-inning stretch. I want to enjoy those little moments with my family and with my son that I've never really gotten to enjoy with our full family during this. So I hope that to be able to get to these baseball games and to enjoy it. So I definitely will not take a moment for granted this season.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that, hopefully this time has taught us to appreciate things. Thanks to some stuff I've seen out there this week with fans responding negatively about certain things, I can tell you that some people need to hop in a DeLorean and go back in time and maybe, I don't want to say relive a pandemic, but kind of like in A Christmas Carol, need to go back in time and look through the window and get right with life, because some people learned absolutely nothing. Some people learned a lot. I definitely have learned a lot about life to a way that I can't even describe. So, I have become the best version of myself. And even in saying that, I know that there's so much more to go and so much more for me to have. So, But I definitely think this last year has taught us a lot. Hopefully it's taught us a lot. If it hasn't, then you need to go back in a bunker and watch the film back, watch that tape again, so you don't keep making the same mistake and missing that wide receiver on that slant route. So,
the Jets quarterbacks, they miss every single receiver.
They never miss Casper though. But the
you talking about learning to you've been saying with the mask. You're not really 100% sure who you're meeting at this point. You don't know when they're covered up half of their face, what kind of person you're meeting when you have an impromptu date or anything like that. So,
buddy, I can tell you something about
that date. So I'm like, I get to date my wife, so I'm very pleased we don't have to wear masks with each other. But I can't even imagine being single and trying to go on a date during this pandemic and not really having a clue exactly who you're meeting on these dates, wearing the mask, and mostly getting to just text each other and not really meeting in person. More power too, buddy. I'm like, that scares the heck out of me, just the idea of it.
Well, my dating life has been so uneventful. That's a joke. So, that's what I said yesterday. I said, did sarcasm die in cancel culture? I hope not. But didn't die for me. But
they're going to tell me they're going to be like, Van Gogh, they're going to cut off their ear and mail it to you. I wouldn't be shocked with the type of people you've got.
Ross, if a girl cut off her ear and mailed it to me, it would be a normal day. It would be business as usual. So,
it's like when I was growing up on the New York City subway. I was used to that. People would pee in and do God knows what on the subway train, and the only thing my parents told me was never make eye contact with them.
My dating life is like the New York City. My dating life is like the New York City subway on Mars during an alien attack. Like that is my dating life. Well, people are tripping on acid probably. So I would definitely I don't do the drugs. I'm just saying my dating life is very insane. But now with every woman looking like a character from Mortal Kombat, I have no idea what I'm dealing with. Personality. They used to be able to just hide their personality. Now they can hide their face too. So it's very scary. And I'm sure it's scary for the women out there, too. I'm an equal opportunity person. I think that there's crazy men and crazy women out there. And for the love of God, I want to say that I've met them all. But I know that every time I say to God that it can't get any worse, he goes, challenge accepted. So I'm not telling him anymore.
I think you've had enough of that.
I'm not baiting God anymore. I feel like if I stay in my house and I say, God, I've seen the craziest, I'll get a phone call. So I don't even do that. I don't even hunker down and test God. So I can honestly tell you that, the dating world was very crappy before, and now it's crappy with a mask. So it's definitely an interesting world. If there's any good women out there, all the power to you, ladies. And if you ever want a man to actually treat you with some respect, you know who to call. But beyond that,
your life would be better if you took them to a baseball game. Let's go back to
no, you know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start going to the baseball games with you. And if she's there, she's there. But I'd rather be in good company no matter what. So I'll just come tag along with you, my niches, my little. And if you don't know what a niche is, go back and watch Boy Meets World, Eric Matthews. But my two niches and and Abby and you, I'd rather just go to the baseball game with you guys. And if the girl selling hot dogs is cute, maybe I say something to her. But either way, I'll be in good company.
That's the perfect segue to get back on track. Let's go to
we're,
a baseball
We're never
game,
going to be on track.
And everything will be back to normal. So, anytime you want to come to a game with us, by all means. You never know what your luck you'll find that night.
Yeah, all I know is I'm very saddened by the current state of dating. So many people have so many. This is what I realize. Women have such a long. I don't know if men do this. Maybe they do, but I can only speak from my perspective. So this is not me being just a man, but it's just my perspective. Women have so many rules, and it's like you got to meet all these things just to meet me. And it's just crazy to me now. It's like I'm sending in my resume, I'm going through an interview thing, then I'm getting called back for a phone interview, then I'm doing a Zoom interview. And so, to me it's so stupid.
Perfect cover letter too. You have to make
just to find out that they're just as crazy as the other one. So, it's dating is interesting. All I can say is the woman that finally gets me and marries me, and by the grace of God is my better half. I can only say that she will have stories galore, and she'll be able to watch Netflix and see her husband talk about stuff.
I think you have so many stories. You can have your own sitcom for sure. Netflix has like 1 million shows. I don't see why one day we can't see the love life of Dan on the TV and see all your crazy adventures until you meet that perfect someone for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, between stand-up comedy and sitcoms, I think God has more than given me enough material for the rest of my life.
And music too, because you're a good singer, so you could sing. Country music. A lot of it is about love lost and the crazy stuff along the way. You could definitely sing about that stuff.
God is just looking at me, going, "Listen, dude, I gave you all the material you need. Like, go out and do this, And I'm like, man, but I wanna have the lady. He's like, yeah, forget about the lady. Just go out there and do your thing, live your dreams. Build a mansion for you and Lily."
It's like Indeed.com times 10. He's trying to make sure you get all the gigs.
He has taken care of me. I could come back here 10 lifetimes from now, and I could tell jokes to alien life forms. Like, I mean, it's totally fine. So we'll get there. We'll figure it out. And, God's sitting up there going like, what? Now let's talk about baseball. The other thing I do in my career is just talk about sports. So, so what are your thoughts? I mean, all 30 teams are going to be in action today, God willing. My allergies are horrible today. But all of the baseball teams are going to be in action from 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time all the way to 10:10 p.m. Eastern Time. Baseball will start on April 1st. It'll end on April 2nd for opening day on the West Coast. What are your thoughts on what we have to see today?
Very exciting stuff. Of course, I'm the crazy Yankee fan who's wearing my Aaron Judge jersey as we speak. I was on double duty, literally and figuratively. I was cleaning up a poopy diaper for my son, so right before the show. So I was trying to hurry up with that so we could talk to you. So I took care of business.
You were trying to get that blank out of your life, which goes back to my dating. We're both trying to get it out. We're trying to take the diaper and throw it in the garbage.
It's full circle, just like 2020. We try to throw that horrible year out in the garbage and never speak of it again. Absolutely. I'm wearing my Aaron Judge jersey. I'm pumped. 105 Yankees at home with fans in the stands, by the way. All 30 teams, even if it's limited capacity, Yankees on opening day, and hopefully we'll get more and more as more people get vaccinated. They're going to have 20% attendance. Governor Cuomo is allowed for today. So he said roughly about 10,600 fans at Yankee Stadium. I know usually they could have about 55,000, but hey, we'll take what we could get. Last year, buckets, no fans. And I know people are like, oh, you just watch the game. It's different, buddy, because with no fans, it is so quiet. Even though a lot of the players, they feed off the energy, negatively or the positive energy. When they're booing you, you sometimes don't like it. If you're an opponent or a home player and you're struggling, it probably angers you, but it also motivates you. And then when you do something well, you hit a big grand slam home run, win a game, you just get so pumped and so motivated and excited. It's exhilarating. It's like you're, running around the bases on cloud nine. You're just flying around there, and without the crowd noise and just having the fake pumping crowd noise like they had in some football games this year, it's not the same. You don't feel that same energy. And a lot of these players, they're like Broadway performers. As much as they try to tune out the crowd, they feed off the crowd, a lot of these performers. Some of them don't want it. A lot of them do. So I know just to have fans in the stands is be excited. Yankee Stadium is going to, with those 10,600 fans, are be the noisiest fans in the world. You're going to have the diehard New York fans. Because in New York, not all states, but in New York, you have to either show that you've been vaccinated or had a negative COVID test within 72 hours of the sporting event. So you have to be a diehard fan to want to go to a game, to be able to show all that, to go to a game. So we plan to go in May on Mother's Day weekend against the Washington Nationals. We're pumped to go. So today, right now, your fingers crossed the Yankees will be healthy. Because I know Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton, the two Bash brothers, they constantly get hurt. But when they're healthy, they're the two most dynamic home run hitters in baseball. So right now, fingers crossed, opening day, our power hitters are healthy. We got DJ LeMahieu, Luke Voigt, their star first baseman, is hurt. So Jay Bruce has to take his place. Gio Urshela at third base. Gleyber Torres at shortstop. Gary Sanchez trying to have a bounce back year at catcher after having a dismal 2020 season hitting the ball. You got Clint Frazier with the beautiful ginger red hair in left. Judge in right, and you got Aaron Hicks in center field, and you got Garrett Cole, the ace of the Yankees, pitching today at Yankee Stadium with fans, and they're playing a young Blue Jays team, which you should be excited about because they got a lot of star players who are the kids of Hall of Fame superstar players. You got Bo Bichette, Dante Bichette's son, a star player from back in the day. You have Vladimir Guerrero, a great Hall of Famer player. His son, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., is on the Blue Jays. And then you got Craig Biggio, who was a star player for the Houston Astros. his son, Calvin Biggio. So it's all great, lineage of superstar players. Calvin Biggio is a star on the Blue Jays. And they got George Springer from the Astros. The Blue Jays are a very talented young team who made the playoffs last year. So look out for them in the AL East division. So that should be a great division rivalry matchup to start off the season. Blue Jays and Yankees. You also got some heck of a matchups. You got the Phillies and the Braves. Should be a great NL East rivalry game. Bryce Harper, of course, for the Phillies. That'll be exciting to see. You got the New York Mets at the Washington Nationals at 7:09 today on ESPN, and Francisco Lindor. I don't know if you've heard of him, but I've been following the game. He was a superstar for the Cleveland Indians. The Mets traded for him, and then he made a self-imposed deadline to sign an extension before opening day. Well, guess what? Right before midnight last night, the Mets knew the richest owner of baseball, Steve Cohen. He put his money where his mouth is. He signed Francisco Lindor, the Mets' new shortstop, 10 years, $341 million guaranteed, and now he will be the Mets shortstop for the next decade. So we get to watch him in his debut. He hasn't even played a regular season game for the Mets until today. Francisco Lindor and the New York Mets and Jacob deGrom, the best pitcher in baseball, pitching for the Mets against the Washington Nationals, who won the World Series in 2019. Watch out for that game. The Los Angeles Dodgers, defending World Series champions. They even got better in the offseason. They already had Mookie Betts and Bellinger and all these superstars. They added Trevor Bauer, one of the best pitchers in baseball. They will be playing today to defend their World Series title. And look out in their same division, the San Diego Padres. They got stacked this year. They have Fernando Tatis Jr., Manny Machado, and then they added Blake Snell and Yu Darvish for good pitching. So I know I've thrown a lot of names at you, buddy, but those are some of the teams to look out for, and very exciting because all the divisions should be pretty competitive in the AL East, AL West, AL Central, and the NL versions of them. 2 wild card teams right now, and it's just going to be exciting to watch these players out there, superstar players. Mike Trout, best player in baseball with the LA Angels. Can they finally win some games? Just very excited to see all these superstars take the field, especially the young stars, to see what they can do and see if they could become the next Derek Jeter, become the next Ken Griffey Jr., and really they can take the mantle as the next superstar in baseball.
And I guess the question is, what are your biggest points of emphasis right now? What are the things that you're really looking to? What are you really most excited about when it comes to this season? I know you've given us some storylines, Ross, here with Ross Turetsky, a sportscaster and writer, and a brother to me, and someone that I appreciate so much off the world of sports and obviously in the world of sports as well. What can you tell me about, what you are most excited about? What are the storylines that are catching you the most as we get set for 2021?
Well, first and foremost, and you hope it's not the big story, is COVID. They're trying to follow the protocols. They're trying to make sure everyone gets tested and everyone can get through that. I know with the Nationals and Mets game tonight, I assume they're going to play, but there is a little bit up in the air because supposedly at least 5 players in the Nationals have tested positive. Yeah. So they have to contact trace and see if they can actually play that game tonight. They have until later in the evening until they have to get closer to game time. But especially with having fans in the stands, you have to have some time to let the fans know if they're going to come to the ballpark tonight. So that will be kind of interesting, the protocols between the fans to make sure they can go into the games and be healthy, where they have to wear the mask. Will there be a lot of fans who don't listen to that and get thrown out of games? So you just hope that everyone can be safe and have a fun experience going to these games. And then it will also be interesting when the players start getting vaccinated, how and more of the fans get vaccinated, how more lax the rules and protocols will get. And by the end of the year, will we be wearing masks at stadiums? Will there be full capacity fans? I'm not sure. Look out for the Texas Rangers in their new ballpark that opened just last year when there was no fans. They are supposed to, at least for opening day, they're going to go full capacity. So that's a bold move. I know Roger Goodell with the NFL says he hopes by fall that they could have full capacity of fans in the stands for their football games. The Texas Rangers, I know Texas and Florida, they really want to have the push to go back to as normal as possible. It's still a little bit in the air because there's only, as of today, only about 18% of the people have been fully vaccinated. That's still going to be a big story, and it's going to be weird but fun to see, but a kind of a weird experience to see, go full capacity right off the bat at the Texas Rangers Stadium. How does that go? You just have your fingers crossed that people can be safe out there, and that does not take over the season. You don't want the season to get derailed just when it started. So that's a big storyline, and you hope that it's not going to be turned into a negative storyline. You hope that it turns into a positive storyline and things get better pretty soon and kind of back to their normal state. With the other schools, there's just a few interesting ideas. One that I'm curious about is the St. Louis Cardinals. That's a team that I'm looking forward to see because they've added Nolan Arenado from the Colorado Rockies. I want to see star players like that, and Francisco Lindor now with the Mets. I want to see there's new star players in new cities and on new teams. How do they acclimate themselves with their new teammates? And do they get off the slow starts and do they struggle? I know with Lindor with the Mets, if with all the money they just agreed to pay him, as I said a few moments ago, they're going to be so much pressure on him. It's not like last year where there was no fans. If he struggles with all that money, the New York fans are the greatest fans in sports, but they also will tell it like it is. So if you struggle, you're going to get booed out the stadium, and then that will build up the pressure. And if he's not real thick-skinned, he might struggle, and it will just go on and on and on. And in a 162-game season, it will snowball the effect. So if he gets off to a hot start, it might be smooth sailing and 10-year contract. It'll be great for the next decade. If he struggles, he might never recover, and you might have paid a lot of money. It's not like football; it's fully guaranteed to a guy who maybe is a bust, and you can't get out from it. You have to pay that full salary. So that's an interesting story. These new players, especially in a big market like New York, how do they get used to their new surroundings? The media and all that, and how are they going to play and perform out there? So I have a big storyline in that. And as I said earlier, another one, as selfishly as a Yankee fan, the two biggest power hitters, King Kong Godzilla movie on HBO Max and movie theaters out yesterday. I saw it with my little kids. They loved it. They loved the action and them beating up bad guys and beating each other up.
Wait. You showed my niches, who are just a few years old. You showed them King Kong versus Godzilla. Okay.
I know it's PG-13, but I'll defend myself. There's very little blood in the movie, and it's just basically you basically shut your brain off for 2 hours, and it's
like a Transformers movie.
Kid's dream. Yeah. You just see these two monsters beating each other up the whole movie. It's pretty entertaining. So yes, I will defend my decision because it's not. It's stylized violence, and there's not really much blood, and it's brainless entertainment. And my little kids loved it with me for 2 hours. LJ, who's a year old, Lorelai, who's going to be 4 in a few months, thought it was the best thing in the world. She told me at the end of the movie, and this is a 4-year-old's opinion, she's like, it's the greatest movie in the world. They should put that on the poster at the theaters to get people back in the movie theaters. Well, that's what it is. So, yes, in many ways, King Kong and Godzilla, well, they're at Yankee Stadium, just like King Kong when he climbed up the Empire State Building in the original movie from 80 years ago. You got Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton. If they could just stay healthy for the majority of the 162-game regular season, the Yankees might be the favorites to win the World Series, first time in 12 years since 2009, and they might both hit 50, 60 home runs each. They have that much power and that much star power in the biggest city in the world. But can they actually stay healthy? Because we've never really seen players like Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge play long-term in baseball. They look more like they're football players and basketball players with their height and their body size and their weight and their muscles. It's like two Incredible Hulks or King Kong Godzilla out at the ballpark every day, and they just get these little nagging injuries and their body breaks down. It's almost like they have too many muscles. So Aaron Judge said he's been doing yoga and a lot of Zen-like things out there to just try to get his body more agile, mobile, because his body is just breaking down. I think him and Stanton have been lifting way too many weights. Yeah. So will that change health? Will they stay healthy? Because if they stay healthy, the Yankees might overtake the Dodgers for the team to beat in baseball and win the championship. If they don't, and it's like the last few years and they just constantly get hurt, it's going to be very frustrating for baseball fans in general and Yankee fans especially. And it's just going to be like, what if? If they could have just stayed healthy, they would be the greatest team ever. If they don't, it's just like a punch in the gut, because it's like we'll never get to see the true ability out on the field because they just couldn't stay healthy. So that's a major storyline: is can these two big star-studded monster players, can they stay healthy out there? I don't know. It will be found out during the 6-month season, but highly questionable, and it's going to make a big difference of how good the Yankees will be this year.
Yeah, I think the Yankees, and to bring up the point of the Yankees, it's something that I brought up to Papa Joe, and I'd love to get your thoughts on it, Ross, is, the reality that when you and I were growing up as kids, we got to see a Yankees team that stayed the same. You watch a team this year, and then the next year, and the next year. I mean, like, I got to know the Derek Jeters and the Tino Martinez's and so on and so forth. I mean, I became acclimated to, okay, this is going to be the third baseman, this is going to be the first baseman, this is the shortstop, this is the outfielder. Like, these are the guys that I know because the team used to stay together.
He was there for 10 years with Jeter. He was there for 20 years. Mariano Rivera. So, yeah, I definitely understand that. You got to fall in love with these guys.
Right. So the question is, what has it done to baseball that we don't have a roster that'll stay the same for 5 to 10 years anymore?
It definitely stinks. It hurts. But it's like that with almost all sports now. Basketball, football is constant turnover. Besides, we got Tom Brady, who was there for 20 years in New England. But even then, he left to Tampa Bay and has won championships with them. And, he'll probably play for the next 40 years. He doesn't care. He'll play till he's 1,000 years old. So, as you can tell, I'm still very spiteful about Tom Brady. But my thing is that it definitely is hard. It's cool to see these players, as I was saying earlier, with Lindor and Arenado, some of these new star players go to new cities. It's fun as a casual sports fan or just a fan in baseball and sports in general. It's fun to see these guys in new places, in new uniforms, and you can buy the new merchandise. That's cool. But as a diehard fan of certain teams, it definitely is hard to enjoy it because my wife's a big Steelers fan. I'm a big Jets fan who suffered for years of losing. And then throughout the years in basketball and hockey and baseball, just when you think you feel like you have ownership of these of this team that you love, and that year in year out you can count on these guys that they'll be there and they'll be like a comforting distraction even when your life kind of turns into shambles. These guys leave, and it's weird. It's cool to see them in uniforms, but especially when you become accustomed and you fall in love with these guys as your star favorite player. It'd be weird to see like Derek Jeter in a Boston Red Sox uniform or Chicago Cub uniform. We never had to see that as Yankee fans. I was so thankful that never was that case. But let's say with Aaron Judge, we don't know. In a few years, he might be on another team. He might be on the Washington Nationals. He might be on the Colorado Rockies for we don't know. There is no true loyalty in sports. Sometimes players will take a hometown discount. You heard Juju Smith-Schuster with the Steelers in football. He took less money to stay with the Steelers, but only on a one-year deal. So next year, for all we know, he might go to the rival Baltimore Ravens or Cleveland Browns. But he was willing to take less money to stay with Pittsburgh. A lot of players in baseball, they won't do that. Free agency and money has gotten so crazy in baseball. Trevor Bauer, who I don't know if you've even heard of somebody, but he won the Cy Young in the National League last year for the Cincinnati Reds, a small market team that had no chance of affording him in free agency. There was not going to be any loyalty. They was going to give them a hometown discount to stay with Cincinnati because he had so much success there last year, winning the Cy Young. He went to the LA Dodgers. He pinned LA and New York, the New York Mets, over who was going to be the highest bidder, who was going to pay him the most. He's going to be making like $45 million a season. The most ever for a baseball player. And it's a guy that the average person, even a big sports fan, has no idea who he is. So that's the other crazy with baseball. At least in basketball and football, you've heard of some of these players. They become household names. In baseball, you get guys who are very talented, but the average person doesn't know who they are, and they're making crazy amount of money. They're getting close to $50 million a year, and they're like, what are they really bringing to the table? Trevor Bauer, he's a great pitcher, but the Dodgers won a World Series without him. And is he going to really put that many bucks in the stands? Is he going to leave after 2 years? Every year he could opt out of his contract. So he'll just go to the highest bidder or whoever's willing to pay him the most, whether it's a rival team or whoever it is. So there is no true loyalty in sports for 99% of the time. There's very little hometown discounts. There's just who can give you the most money. And so it's very hard to fall in love with the romance of sports that, you love these players, you love your team, but in a drop of a hat, they're gone. So it's almost like you have to get used to like college basketball, the one and done rule, and Jim Boeheim and all these great coaches have gotten used to that. It's kind of like what's been the case with baseball. In a couple of years, they're going to be gone, and you're going to have to see them in another uniform, and it might hurt real bad, but that's life in baseball in 2021.
Yeah, and it's crazy to see that because, like we said, as kids, we knew who they were. I knew who the Cowboys were. I knew who the Niners were. I knew who the Yankees were going to be. I knew who the Lakers were going to be, the Bulls and whatnot. And now things change every couple of years, and it's so strange. And I said to Fred Terzini, the head coach of Liverpool boys volleyball and Liverpool baseball as well, and when we were at Avicoli's this week, And you can go back and watch those videos on facebook.com/livenowdt, where you are right now, as well as facebook.com/wakeupcalldt. And they will be added to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as wakeupcalldt.com's homepage. So shout out to Liverpool and to Avacolis for an amazing, amazing time. And we got to do a lot of things this week. CNS Athletics football team at Cafe Cubal. Obviously, at the Wildcats, we had the boys basketball team. So I want to thank the community for everything that the kids and the local businesses and the schools have allowed me to do to try and bring us together. And speaking of bringing us together, Ross, got a message from Fred that said when Ross did his stand-up in New York, the machine gun style worked great. The day right after the Boston Marathon incident, he still decided to go on in the Village and was a great relief for the 20-minute set. So I just wanted to share that with you. That's in your world of stand-up, that somebody, years later appreciated it and said that you deciding to go on after the Boston Marathon was something that people appreciated, something that they needed, and that it was a good relief for them for 20 minutes that you were on the stage.
That's my cousin Fred. I get to see him once in a while before COVID with New York, and we've gone to Broadway shows he loves to do it, and he humors me about sports. I think at times he's like, okay, I don't, just like you sometimes with baseball, you're like, okay, that's not my thing, but, he sees my passion for it, and he's very supportive of it. So I know he was going to be tuning in today, but that's very nice for him to say. He was coming to all my comedy shows, even if I would be telling the same funny set that I knew was going to work on audiences in a big market like New York. I'd say the same jokes because, he heard them, the first show, he'd hear them the 100th show, and he'd come out every time. So I'm very appreciative of him always being supportive and being so kind and generous at this time. When he didn't have to be, so I'm just, and he's very accomplished. He's written screenplays, and he's also a CPA, makes a ton, doing great work, doing people's taxes in New York. And then on the side, he has, he loves art and he writes musicals and all that stuff. So I'm very appreciative of that. And I do remember that day. It was crazy because I was preparing to do a comedy show in New York, and then a horrible tragedy happens. And then my family's like, are you still going to New York? And people are on edge, and that day. And I'm like, I'd like to still do my show, and I don't know if people will laugh, if people will be in the mood to laugh. But if I could be a comfort and distraction, get people to laugh for a few moments and forget about some horrible things for a moment, then that means the world to me. If I can do that, in any small part, if I could, just get you to smile when life is crappy, that's all I want to do. So, and then I remember that after that happened, I even decided to get really into running. I ran the Scranton Half Marathon because I'm like, I can't stand horrible people, trying to take away the freedom of our country to be able to go out in a marathon race and run with all these people around you. So the very next year, I ran in the marathon, and it was a lot because of that. And I just wanted to enjoy that moment of being free in America and all the great things we get to do because of all the people who sacrifice and put their lives on the line, all the first responders and all the military people out there, and everyone who's put their lives on the line during this pandemic. So just so appreciative of that. And if I can get you to smile, even doing this show, put on Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation, like, get down, get to the chopper, and things of that nature. Hasta la vista, baby. It's not the tumor. If I can get you to smile for just a second, it means the world to me.
And that gives me chills when you just said that statement. If I can get you to smile for just a second, it means the world to me. Because I echo that. I love that. And I'm the same way. If I can get you to smile for just a second, it means the world to me. Because if you can get someone to step away from their sadness, their anxiety, their fear, whatever, and to smile for a second, then they're going to smile for another second. Then it's going to get a little bit easier to smile the next day. And then they're going to keep rocking and rolling. Because life ain't easy. But the reality of it all is if you can smile for a second, then now it's a little bit easier to get you to smile again. And hopefully we do that. And we keep it going and we keep it rolling. It's a very interesting world where people that don't focus on their talents, focus on their gifts, try in life, but they just want to cancel other people out. And there's those of us that are actually working really, really hard. If you're too afraid to take a step, don't cancel somebody out because you're still not going to get anywhere. That's what I said is at the root of evil. If evil succeeds in pulling someone down to their level, then you're both at the bottom. It's not like you pull them down, you go up. You stay on the bottom. So what's the sense of tearing somebody down, canceling somebody out, when you're not going to move because of that? You still have to, no matter what you do to try and ruin somebody else's life, you still have to improve yours. And I find that people that attack other people and want to be depressed and want to be down and spend their entire day just surfing the internet trying to find any mistake that anybody's ever made ever, that those people have no life. I mean, the amount of, if I look up right now on Twitter, just for giggles here, and just to see.
I wouldn't necessarily do that all the time because I'm right with you. There are people who are losing their jobs. The lady at T-Vogue, she got in trouble for things she tweeted out when she was 17, lost her big job because of that. I think people evolve as they get older. It's one thing if you did it like now. Let's say if you're a 40-year-old man and you yesterday put a horrible comment, I can understand losing your job. But there's kids out there, you better watch out. If you're 12 years old, you make a post on social media, they can use that against you down the line. When you want a job, or even if you have a job, someone will screenshot it, dig up these tweets, and then your career is thrown away. So I definitely agree with you, buddy. But yeah, if you're gonna look at Twitter, beware. I wouldn't necessarily do that all the time.
No, and the thing is, I just use it for my business, but I'm trying to see if it shows.
But it's just a lot of craziness out there. There's a lot of hatred and nastiness and vitriol. And I just want people to love everybody. Like Jackie Moon in Semi-Pro, Will Ferrell said, everybody love everybody. I got that shirt for my little boy LJ, and he wears that out. And my daughter wears shirts. My wife, Abigail, she gets these shirts with all these beautiful messages on it, and we're kind of having our kids wear them just to put some love in the world because there's just too much hatred and darkness in this world, and we just want some light. I want more like Mr. Rogers, where he said the 3 important things in this world are to be kind, and be kind. Those are the 3 important things, and you'll have a successful life. And I just wish there was more of that. So, I don't mind. Social media can be very great, but it can also be horrible, and it can really destroy young people's lives, and it can also hurt people where they're getting cyberbullied. You have bullied physically in school. They can only, maybe fight with you or mess with you during the school day. Now they can mess with you all day long, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. You can never escape it. So it can just be very bad influence on the young kids. So that's the part. As a parent with young kids, it worries the heck out of me and how bad it's going to get in the next decade when my kids are older and teenagers and they are actually going on these websites.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, looking at this stuff right now, and just seeing the amount of messages that, I put out per day and try to put out positivity. I joke around with people and whatnot. And I ask that people understand something. If you're spending your life attacking other people, you are canceling out people while working to cancel out yourself eventually. Because a jerk is a jerk, and a jerk can find one. And I think that, when you're working hard, when you're going after what you want in your life, you don't have time. I don't have time to hear about what people say about me and this, that, and whatever. I'm here to make people laugh, help people feel like they have a community, know that they're not alone, tell them about stories that help them to ease their pain on whatever they're going through. Nobody's had an easy life. My life has been incredible. Incredible. Absolutely amazing. Wouldn't change it for the world. And I've had adversity. My grandfather's passed away when I was 6. My parents got divorced while I was getting divorced. My grandmother passed away right before that double divorce. I've dated people that have been all types of not healthy to how they treat you, and I try to be a good person and give people a chance. And sometimes people take advantage of that. I've had a teacher try to keep me from graduating, so because I took too many credits, which made no logical sense. So to me, I had that same teacher try to steal all of my work. And I would look him dead in the face today and tell him that his greatest accomplishment at the university I went to was putting his name on my work. So he hasn't even accomplished anything at the university. That's how sad his life is.
I
But
don't want to take credit for anything that you did in a positive manner.
right, and that's the thing, is it's like, if your greatest claim to fame is something you took from somebody else, that's telling the world that you've done absolutely nothing with your life. Because if your best positive is actually somebody else's work, it's not yours. And if you're using that to benefit yourself, then what are you saying about what you've actually done in your life? Because if you did something of merit, promote that. But, imitation is the highest form of flattery. And I can sit here all day and talk about the people that do bad things, but I'd rather talk about the people that do good things. I'd rather talk about the fact that you have followed your dreams of being a stand-up comedian. You have followed your dreams of being a writer. You've followed your dreams of being a broadcaster. You and I became best friends, close friends, true brothers in the middle of tragedy when our friend Sarah passed away. We have learned so much in life, and, you've made me an uncle to two beautiful, wonderful children. You married somebody who I consider in my corner as well. Your mother has treated me like a son since the day I met her. So, to me, we can focus on cancel culture and whack jobs.
You're part of our Jewish tribe now. You can celebrate Hanukkah with us anytime. She loves you like you're her very own son as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that, and thank you. But you can focus on the negativity or you can focus on the positives. And I know in today's world it's so easy to be negative because, like you brought up, bullying can follow you home. But the reality of it all is there's one person standing on a stage doing comedy. There's a lot of people sitting there commenting on how they do it, but their pants, their pants if they stood on that stage. There's a lot of people telling me that they can broadcast better than I do, but they still sit in the stands and never pick up a microphone. There's a lot of people that are smarter than Jim Boeheim, but they'll never coach a game in their life. So the reality of it all is there's a lot of sayers and there's very few doers, and I would rather focus on the people that do than the people that say and the people that open their mouth. Listen, anybody on this planet can open their mouth, but very few of us actually have the cojones to get after it. And so, Ross, before we take a step aside and finish up with baseball, I want to tell you today and always, if you haven't heard this enough, you are one of the smartest, strongest, most determined, most fearless people. And if I could take anything from you, it's your fearlessness, because the stages you have put yourself on are stages that can be terrifying, lonely, strange, and very few people can, kind of understand it. And so I commend you because you've always been a fearless person who's always loved yourself and always believed in yourself, and you never let anybody stop you. And I think the greatest asset that you have to this world that you can give to anybody listening or watching or connecting with this in any way, shape, or form is that you are one of the few people on this planet that lives without fear, trusts themselves, and believes in yourself even if nobody else does at that time. And that is such an art that is extremely hard to do. So I have to tell you that you are in a world of very, very, very few people. And that's one of the most remarkable things about you. And it's why I consider you one of the greatest people I will ever meet in my life.
I appreciate those words. They're very humbling words, and I feel the same about you. I'm very proud of all that you've done and how fearless you are with your company and all the different things you're doing, whether it be entertainment stuff with the comic books and the movies and shows and music. And all the great things you're doing with that, and then all the sports, all the feature stories, all the conversations, all the coverage you're doing, whether it be Syracuse or just around the world or with any type of sport. You capture it all, and you're fearless. Anytime someone tries to bring you down because it makes their insecurities, it makes them feel better, you always overcome that. So I feel the same way about you, that you have accomplished so much, and it's just a small fraction of all the things you're going to do great in this world, and you're going to be amazing at everything you do. If you put your mind and whole body and soul into it, you can't be defeated. So you're going to be great at what you do with sports and entertainment, and you're going to be just as great when you're going to be a dad and a husband, and you're an unstoppable force because of how amazing you are and how hard you work and how genuine of a great person you are. So someone will see that. You're gonna have you're gonna have great kids one day, a great wife one day, and you're gonna be great in anything you do, business world or beyond, whether it be your business or just your family life. You're gonna conquer it all because you put your full heart and soul into it. There's no way you can be stopped.
That coming from the best of the best. We'll take a step aside. Thank you, Ross. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, Ross and I will wrap up final notes on opening day while it's snowing. While it's snowing. Opening, this is why it's total fake news. It's not real. It's never going to be. No, it's not. It doesn't feel real. It's not. That's my guy, LJ. So we'll take a step aside for a fast break. My man, LJ, is up, and we'll be back right after this fast break.
Hi, buddy. Hey, LJ. How you doing, buddy?
Cafe Cabal Mobile Cafe brings the cafe experience to you. We'll roll out to your neighborhood or office, ready to serve our locally crafted espresso bar to our loyal patrons. Inquire at cafecabal.com. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, located on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, is home to over 40 flavors with more than 200 flavors in their total wheelhouse. Sky's the limit for this sweet and savory Central New York company. Keep it local at your parties, fundraisers, wedding showers, baby showers, and more by calling 315-450-MA-PA. That's 315-450-6272 for popcorn bars with custom flavors and colors at your upcoming event. Make sure to visit them on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. And for more information, go to maandpazsnacks.com. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you? The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every time. Make sure you make your way to the Millhouse Market. But before you do that, download their app on the Google Play or Apple App Store, and you will get everything at your fingertips, from their homemade breads and desserts to their salads, quinoa bowls, rice bowls, brick oven pizzas, and sandwiches named after the families that helped to settle today's Pulaski. Ingrained in our community and ingrained in our taste buds, there is no better place when it comes to local, supporting local, as well as all of the beautiful creations that the Millhouse Market has to offer. They are truly, absolutely, positively, 4 seasons a year, worth the drive every time. Head out there Tuesday through Sunday to their drive-thru. You can get everything on the app, or you can call ahead, get your food set and ready to go, pull up to the drive-thru window, grab your food, and go. You can also go inside to their bistro restaurant on the weekends and during the week, Tuesday through Sunday, when the drive-thru is open. Those same times, Tuesday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., and on Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., you can go into the general store and find local products from local companies, including the local honey that I just picked up and the local pure maple syrup that I put on all my chocolate chip pancakes that I make here at home. So it's definitely a gift that keeps on giving by heading out to the Millhouse Market. Worth the drive every single time. With that being stated, Ross and I are back here to wrap up today's baseball on opening day. So, Ross, any final notes on opening day of baseball as we get set to send everybody off with less than 2 hours until we have our first game?
Just a lot of excitement, a lot of optimism for the next 2 hours. Every single team in baseball can be under the delusional mindset, even if they're horrible, that they're undefeated. Everyone of the 30 teams has a chance at winning the World Series. Everyone has the same chance. I know really they technically don't, because there are the haves and have-nots, just like in any sport. But baseball's become a lot more competitive. Like basketball, you usually get the same teams playing for the championship every single year. Football, a lot of the times, there's competitiveness, but Tom Brady, whoever team he plays for, is going to compete for a Super Bowl every single year. Baseball, there's a bunch of teams that have a real chance to make the playoffs, that compete for a championship. But even the bad teams, like the Pittsburgh Pirates of the world and teams like that, Kansas City Royals, they all have a chance going in today because their mindset is it's a blank slate. You're all 0-0. You're all undefeated. 162 games ahead of you. Anything is possible. So you never know. There's always like a Cinderella team, a team you didn't expect to make the playoffs. Last year you had the Miami Marlins. Derek Jeter owns them now. You thought they'd have no chance at making the playoffs. It was a short 60-game season. They even had a massive COVID outbreak. they had to miss like 2 weeks of the season. They had a bunch of no-name players you've never heard of. And you know what they ended up doing? They made the playoffs for the first time in 17 years. And it was a crazy run. Former Yankee great Don Mattingly is their manager, was manager of the year for the Miami Marlins. And now they hired the first ever female general manager in pro sports history. So they're breaking barriers, and it's a long time coming that's finally happening. There's some female coaches in baseball now who are going to be on the field on opening day. I know there's some female coaches on the Yankees, on the Red Sox, on the San Francisco Giants. So we're very excited to see a lot of cool new things happening that should have happened years ago. But you never know what to expect. Teams that you think have no chance could be a team that sneaks into the playoffs and maybe has a chance to bring home a championship. So last year was the Miami Marlins and a couple other teams that you didn't expect. This year, who will be the new Miami Marlins? Or will it be Miami Marlins again, where they come from nowhere, spending almost no money, have a low payroll, and maybe they'll shock the baseball world. So I'm very excited about that. You know me, my favorite movie of all time is Rocky. Rocky Balboa, yo, Adrian, I did it.
Yeah.
I love the underdog story. The little engine that no one expects to win. I love, the Rudy movie where they scream out, Rudy, Rudy, where I love when people don't expect, they don't think you can do something. Same thing what we were talking about in our careers or in life, where people doubt you, try to put you down and make themselves feel better and that they're superior. I love those people who are supposedly on the downward end of everything, that they work their butts off and they end up outworking the person who has more talent, who spends more money on their team, and they shock the world, and they can beat you head to head. Mano a mano in baseball, pitcher versus hitter, you never know what to expect. So I just really hope we see some cool stories in baseball. We see some teams that are unexpected find ways to win and compete to get into the playoffs. I hope, the diehard Yankee fan, I want to see the Yankees win their unprecedented, most ever 28th World Series championship. 12 years in the running now, they have a 1-1. I know for a regular team that's nothing, but Yankee fans have been spoiled and suffering through Jets, all the years of losing with the Jets football team. I at least got accustomed and kind of got took it for granted, which I won't anymore, that the Yankees win in the World Series every year back in the 90s and early 2000s with Derek Jeter and Joe Torre. So I'd love to see the Yankees win a championship. I'd love to see Aaron Judge and Carl Stanton stay healthy so they become the new Bash brothers like Jose Canseco and Mark McGwire back in the day. Unfortunately, they found out they were on steroids back then. But I assume that these guys are clean. I hope so, because they've become role models to my kids. Lulu, as we speak, we're in Lululand playing with her and LJ, her brother. They're wearing Aaron Judge shirts just like me, and they love Judge and Stanton. I have a Smash Brothers shirt with the two of them that I got for Christmas. So hopefully they can stay healthy finally, have big-time years, hit 50 homers apiece. Yankees win a championship. I'd love to see that. Miguel Cabrera, a great player for the Marlins and now Detroit Tigers. He's on the verge of getting his almost 500 home runs and 3,000 hits. He might be able to get both of those milestones this season. Look out for that. As I said, Jacob deGrom, best pitcher in baseball on the Mets. See how great he'll be if he can stay healthy, how great he's going to do out there. Mike Trout with the Angels, superstar player Fernando Tatis Jr., how great he'll be with the Padres. The Dodgers, can they repeat as World Series champions? If I have to pick right now, my World Series prediction, and it probably will be totally wrong, I'm going to go with the New York Yankees versus the Los Angeles Dodgers for the 2021 World Series. And I'm going to go with the Yankees winning an epic 7-game series to dethrone the Dodgers as World Series champions and to win their first championship in a dozen years. So that's my World Series pick. I'd love to hear yours, buddy, but I think Dodgers are going to have a great season with all the star-studded players they have, and they added to that with Trevor Bauer and company, and they have Mookie Betts and Bellinger, all these great players, and Turner and all these superstars. Dodgers are going to be great. Yankees are going to be great if they stay healthy. I expect Yankees, Dodgers, LA versus New York, the two biggest cities in the country, head-to-head in the World Series. Right now, they're probably the favorites going in, but I think, usually there's an underdog. I think there'll be underdog teams that sneak into the playoffs. I think in the end, you're going to have Dodgers and the Yankees in the World Series, and I'll go with Yankees winning in 7 games to win the 2021 World Series championship. So I hope COVID, goes away pretty soon and that everyone gets vaccinated. We get some normalcy, that the season is not interrupted with that. That's a storyline I'm hoping that things get back to normal. Fans in the stands, we're going to enjoy every single moment. I know as a diehard sports fan, baseball fan, I will love going to Yankee Stadium again, love going to the Rail Rider Stadium at PNC Field in Electric City in Scranton, Pennsylvania for all you Office fans. I'd love to go to baseball games with you, buddy, Dan. So, Dan the man. So I would love to check out some baseball games. I'll be so excited, even if it's just partial capacity, to go in there and actually have fans in there and to hear real crowd noise, not fake pumpkin crowd noise from a computer. I want to be around real fans, even though I know it's pod season to be safe. We went to a Penguins minor league hockey game in Wilkes-Barre last week. They have pods of 2, 4, or 6. So you just sit with people you know that either have been tested or in your household. You wear a mask. You take it off while you're eating. When you're walking around the stadium, you have to wear it. But you're spread out. People are. It's kind of nice because there's not long lines for food, and you're not right on top of like total strangers who would sometimes take over a seat next to you, and they would spread their legs out and be on your seat. It'd be like they're touching you like they know you, and I'm like, I don't even know you, buddy. So in a way, it's kind of nice for people who just want to be around people they know and friends and family. You sit in your pod seat, be safe. But I can't wait to see today, in just a couple hours for opening day, fans in the stands cheering and, players. I know they're probably going to have to limit autographs and interaction because of the pandemic, but hopefully that will be over soon and players can start signing little kids' autographs. I remember as a kid getting foul balls and getting signatures from my favorite players. I can only imagine if my daughter got an Aaron Judge signed baseball, how amazed she would be. I know today she told me, she's like, when I'm older like you, Daddy, she told me this morning, I'm going to show him the pictures I'm drawing of Aaron Judge. She draws and colors pictures of Aaron Judge almost every day. She wants a poster for her room for Aaron Judge if you want to figure out a Christmas gift for her or a birthday gift in July. And that she wants to give these drawings to Aaron Judge. And then when he gets vaccinated, she said, I'm going to give him a big hugging kiss, and I can't wait to do that. So that it's a very schmaltzy, very nice, sweet moment. She just loves her Aaron Judge. She means the world to him, and she just can't wait to be able to watch him play again in person. Hopefully in May he's healthy and we can watch him play. And she's even seen him rehab, hit a home run for the Rail Riders a couple years ago when he was rehabbing from an injury. And then give the drawings that she does of him and hug and kiss her Aaron Judge. So it melts my heart that I love the Yankees. I love Aaron Judge. She loves him probably just as much, if not more than me. And that's her idol that she loves. So I can't wait till that moment can happen, that she can cheer him on in person and maybe get a foul ball or a signed autograph from him, because it will mean the world to her. And she'll put it up on her nightstand in her bedroom, and she'll love it. So I love baseball. It brings out the little kid in me.
Yeah.
Take me out to the ball game. I have the song pumping in my head all day long. We've been playing it for about 2 weeks straight to get both kids, 1 and 4 and almost 4 years old, pumped for baseball opening day. I'm so excited. Fans in the stands, baseball, it's back, baby. We're going to watch some great games, the home runs, the hits, the bunts, the Cracker Jacks, the hot dogs. It tastes way better at a baseball game than they do in your house, because for some reason, being outside, it just makes everything taste better when you go to a sporting event. The ice cream that gets all messy on myself when I eat out there like I'm a little kid. It brings out the little 5-year-old boy in me going to my first baseball game as a little kid in New York, and it's so amazing. I want to bring that to my kids, and I hope everyone can do that with their families. I just love this game. Go Yankees, but go baseball in general. I just want to have a great season. Everyone, as much as possible, stay healthy. Watch the games, cheer them on. The players put up some great numbers. See some big, epic, thrilling comebacks, home runs, strikeouts, and I just hope for a great season and hope for the Yankees to knock off the Dodgers in the World Series. So I'm so excited for baseball, and I'm going to wrap it up. I say, take me out to the ball game. Take me. You're going to have to hear all of it, buddy. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back Lulu and LJ, because it's root for the home team. Go Yankees. If they don't win, it's a shame. Or it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Play ball. And by the way, the little kids love this. It's my half birthday. I can do what I want.
That's the thing, too. Yeah, it's your half birthday today. It's my half birthday on April 21st. So
and that's my sister Laura's birthday. She'll be 20 years old on April 21st. So
that's crazy.
Where's the time gone? I feel
that's
so
crazy,
old.
man.
She was born when I was a freshman in high school. She's about to be 20 on the 21st. But yeah, I'm so excited for baseball, as you know. My kids love it. Before we go, what's your prediction? Who's going to be your World Series matchup, and who wins it?
My World Series matchup.
I'm holding it to you too. It's some of the
I
biggest
know,
betters.
I know, and I thought I was gonna get away from today's show without having to make one. So like,
You can always change it. I know that video and audio last forever, but you can just say that that was like a deep fake. That's fake news. You can change it later on. What's your preliminary prediction? You don't have to say who's in the playoffs, all the teams, who wins the division. What would be your World Series prediction if you had to make it today, and who do you think wins it?
yeah. So here's the thing. So I would love to see. I know it's not going to happen this year, but I would love to see a Subway Series. I'd love to see Mets and Yankees just duke it out. I would love that. But if I had to choose today who's going to make it to the 2021 World Series, from the National League, I will go with the Dodgers. And this is not because you said it. It's because I believe it. I don't see anybody from the Central coming out. I don't see, I don't see the West. And, I don't see anybody from the East besides the Dodgers. So I'm going to say Dodgers, Yankees. I'm going to agree with you. And I, for my grandfather and for my dad, am going to pick the Yankees to win. And this has nothing to do with your prediction. When you said it, I was like, damn it, that sounds good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's,
How
I think.
How many games does it go? If you had to pick,
I'm going to say Dodgers, Yankees, Yankees in 6.
Okay, that'd be pretty cool. But I agree with you, buddy, because I was 14 years old in 2000. You were 15. There was lots of Subway Series back in the day when it was Yankees versus the New York Giants, who became San Francisco Giants, and Yankees versus the Brooklyn Dodgers, who became the LA Dodgers.
Yeah, think about that. There was 4 there was 4 New York teams at one point.
It's nuts. So yeah, the Yankees and Dodgers used to play each other in the World Series almost every year, especially back in the 1950s.
Yeah.
You had the great Jackie Robinson, who had overcome so much horrible things and overcame it all. Was a great person, great baseball player, great pioneer. And Jackie Robinson and the Brooklyn Dodgers got to the World Series every year almost in the 50s, and the Yankees used to knock them off the World Series every year. And then finally in 1955, the year before my mom was born, they finally won their one and only World Series in Brooklyn. The rest of their championships have been in LA. The Dodgers finally knocked off the big bad Yankees, and they were the little brother in that matchup. Dodgers finally won in 55, but the Yankees-Dodgers played each other all the time. But yeah, in 2000, when I was a freshman in high school, Yankees and Mets, the only time they ever faced off in the Subway Series, in the World Series, not just interleague players from training like they do all the time, and it was epic. Yankees won in 5 games. They won. There was a 3rd straight World Series title, and that was with Joe Torre's manager. You had Derek Jeter, Tino Martinez, Bernie Williams, Mariano Rivera, Jorge Posada. You had all these great Yankees, and Mike Piazza was on the Mets, and all these great players on the Mets. And yeah, Yankees, Mets, that Subway Series in 2000 was epic. I was visiting my brother who was living in New York, going to high school in Brooklyn. The city was electric. It would be amazing. I'm picking Yankees and Dodgers, but I'd love it to be Yankees and Mets because everyone says you have to either love the Yankees or the Mets. You can't like both New York teams. I grew up loving both New York teams, so I would love to see the Yankees and Mets face off in World Series like they did when I was 14 years old, all those years ago in 2000, which seems like a million years ago. It sounds so futuristic at the time, year 2000. It'd be epic to see the city be electric again and see a Subway Series in 2021 between the 2 powerhouse New York teams. And both teams have a great chance to make the playoffs. They spend lots of money, have a lot of homegrown talent from the minor leagues. Yankees and Mets have a chance. I would root for them. I think they're both going to the playoffs, but I think the Mets will get tripped up in the playoffs, probably by the Dodgers, defending champs. So I'm picking Yankees Dodgers, but I'm with you. If my heart wants to go with Yankees Mets, I'd love to see another Subway Series as a New York kid, just like you. But I'm going with Yankees and Dodgers, and I know your grandfathers and your dad love the Yankees, and I know it would mean a lot to them. And they're still your grandpas are watching over you, and they love you with all their heart. And you told me about the Christmas gift you got from them all those years later, and I think it'd be amazing to see the Yankees back in the World Series and win one for your beloved grandpas.
Yeah, and so that's the thing, and I think it can happen this year. So I'm gonna rock with you, Ross. We agree on a lot of things that count, and now we're agreeing on the World Series, and we'll see if our pick counts at the end of this all, if we're going to be right with it. But more than anything else, I look forward to seeing games with you sit next to you, and whether we're in the house or at the stadium. And if and when we get our World Series that we predicted, maybe we can go.
I would love to. I got the last time the Yankees won the World Series in 2009. I saved up my money, and I made sure, they said I was crazy for doing it, but I made sure basically all my family went with me. We sat with the bleacher creatures in the cheap seats, but we loved it. We saw the Yankees beat the Phillies in the clinching Game 6 of the World Series, and they played it in November. It was almost Thanksgiving time. It was after Halloween, so it was a freezing cold, almost winter night. It was November 4th, 2009. I remember it very well. I was 23 years old. I made sure all my family got to go. My two brothers, my sister, my mom. We all got to see Yankees win their 27th World Series title, beating the Phillies in Game 6 of the World Series in person. The first year of the new Yankee Stadium that they built across the street from the old one, and it was an amazing moment. So I would love to go again 12 years later, see them win their next title and win their 28th World Series. They already have the most World Series ever with 27. I'd love to see. It's been over a decade in waiting for it. I'd love to see number 28, and I'd love to go to some games with you. So definitely, anytime we can do it, whether it be a Yankee game at Yankee Stadium, a Syracuse Mets game by you, or a Rail Riders game here in Scranton to see the baby Yankees. I'd love to do it. So play ball. Very excited for baseball season. Can't wait, and so humbled by all the great things you were saying about me earlier. It means the world to me. Your friendship means the world to me, and I mean it by the bottom of my heart. I think you're a great person, a great broadcaster, a great friend, and even a better person in general. So I wish you the very best, and I hope I'm rooting for you always. I hope for bigger and better things to come all the time. So I can't wait to see you. Our big bear hug has been over a year in the waiting. It's been almost 2 years now. It's been about a year and a half since I think it was since Lorelai's second birthday when I had the pink eye I tried to give you. So I can't wait to be able to give you a big bear hug. See you soon, buddy.
You did try to give me pink eye, but you did not.
And I'm going to make sure I get pink eye again just to see you again because it's coming, baby. You're not going to escape the pink eye. It's coming to get you. COVID might be over soon, but the pink eye's coming to get you. It's like the rhythm's going to get you from Gloria Estefan. The pink eye's coming to get you. So it's been a long time. It's been almost 2 years. It's a long time to hug you, buddy. So I love you, man. I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm rooting for you always. I can't wait to give you that big bear hug in person and watch some baseball and watch some sports with you. And you get to see some of your niches, including Baby LJ, who you never got to meet. So I hope that we can do that real soon, buddy. And I love you, buddy. And I appreciate any time I get to have fun with my best bud on air and get to talk to you because it doesn't feel like work to me. I take it seriously. I want to do the best I can on the air with you, but I just feel like I'm just having a casual conversation with my buddy, and I just love talking to you. I would do that any day of the week, and it doesn't matter to me. I just enjoy doing it, so it's like having fun, and it's just a bonus that it's on the air and people can enjoy it if they like, but it's just having a nice, fun conversation.
Oh yeah, and that's man, that's my life. Is that my work is my play is my work. So I don't feel like I work a day in my life, and I would have these conversations with you anyways. But now we get to have them on the air, and call it a job doing it. So I appreciate you. I love you back, and please, I send my love to you, to Abby, to your family, obviously to your mom, and to my little niches. So. Please have a great day. Take care of yourself. Be good to yourself, and know that you're more appreciated than I can say. I'll be watching baseball with you today on my TV and having some fun with that. And I'll also be watching some Godzilla Kong. So I look forward to.
Like I said, my almost 4-year-old daughter said it's the greatest movie ever. So. Enjoy it. You could shut off your mind.
Yeah, I'm just getting my Ma and Pa's kettle corn ready. I'm just going to sit there and shut my brain off. So.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil it for you. I love to spoil movies. Shut off your mind and just enjoy like two gigantic cinematic beasts going at it and punching the heck out of each other and blowing fire at each other. It's epic. It's amazing. So I hope you enjoy that. Enjoy baseball. Enjoy the Final Four this weekend. Yep. Your possible championship is still alive with Gonzaga and Houston. Yep. So I know it's Houston and Baylor. I think Houston has a good chance to beat Baylor. Gonzaga, UCLA after they upset Michigan. And what's crazy, I kept picking Michigan State to come out of the first four, go over the Final Four. They could have done that if they would have held on and not losing overtime because, look, the team that beat them, UCLA, they got all the way to the Final Four. So, and as crazy as it was, if my team got knocked out in the first round that I picked to win it all, to go to the Final Four, I picked Gonzaga to win it all. UCLA is in the same spot that Michigan State could have been.
That's what I was thinking, too.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is.
So first four to final four. So yeah, I think Gonzaga is gonna beat UCLA, and then I think Gonzaga beats Houston in the national title game on Monday, the day after Easter Sunday. So enjoy the Final Four, enjoy the college basketball, NBA with the Brooklyn Nets playing great is also fun, hockey, and then the start of baseball season. Craziness with football. 4 weeks from today, April 29th, is the start of the NFL draft. And it's going to be on site. There'll be people who are going to be at home, like Trevor Lawrence, who your Jacksonville Jaguars are going to draft number one.
Yeah.
But they're going to have a draft in Cleveland, Ohio, home of the Cleveland Browns, on April 29th, just 4 weeks from today. So that's exciting to look forward to. There's going to be an added 17th game of the NFL regular season. That will be fun to see. Hopefully players can stay healthy and we get one more week of football. And the Super Bowl has been pushed back to the day before Valentine's Day, February 13th. It would be on Valentine's Day. That would be a pretty tough challenge. What do you do if you were supposed to go out?
Not for me. Not for me. Not for me. I will be relaxing.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting if the Super Bowl ever does fall on Valentine's Day, which it could, but this year will be February 13th in La La Land in Los Angeles. So a lot of cool things in sports and entertainment to look forward to. King Kong Godzilla as well. And yeah, have a happy Easter, everyone. Tomorrow's Good Friday. Today's Holy Thursday. Happy April Fool's Day, but enjoy your Easter Sunday. Hopefully your kids and your loved ones get lots of tasty chocolates from the Easter Bunny, and enjoy your Easter festivities responsibly with your family as we, I know it's still going on, the pandemic, so hopefully everyone's safe with it, but enjoy your Easter Sunday and your festivities. So I love being on with you, buddy, and hopefully you have a great weekend and enjoy all that baseball. And King Kong Godzilla, I'll give you one spoiler. They redo Game of Thrones final season, and they make it a way better show. That's the end of the movie, and at the end they become best buddies, and they go Chick-fil-A at the end. That's my spoiler.
That's all that matters at the end. That's a good spoiler. Joining us from the Keystone State. They got to change that last 15 minutes of my dude Bran Muffin from Game of Thrones. But as always, Ross, I appreciate it, and I'll talk with you soon. I love you, buddy, and stay safe. Okay, I'll talk to you in just a little bit.
I will. Oh, and one more thing.
Yeah.
Penn State's great in baseball. I have a game to cover this Saturday, the day before Easter, on April 3rd at 12 o'clock in the Electric City. So if you're interested in what one of the smaller Penn State Scranton is doing, I will have your coverage for that if you check out their school website. So thanks for having me on, buddy. Happy Easter, and love you, buddy. Talk to you soon.
All right. Take care, brother. I'll talk to you soon. That coming from Ross Turetsky, and sending my love to him as well. Per always, definitely appreciate having him here on the broadcast with us, where sports meets that thing called life, and the definition of sports meeting life. We talk about everything. We've been best friends since 2008, and he is an incredible human being, and I love him very much. Tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. On Facebook.com/LiveNowDT, on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, and on MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.com. Once we go live, we get archived. Ooh, look at that. That rhymes. Stitcher, Spotify, MixLR, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. YouTube, as I mentioned before, and Podbean. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and you'll find me there. You can also search one word, Wake Up Call DT. And thanks to our Central and Upstate New York partners, now more than ever, they appreciate everything that you do. So going to look at a car, grabbing a sandwich, getting something to eat in general for lunch or dinner or breakfast, going and grabbing an ice cream, grabbing a coffee, dropping your dog off for the day, grabbing a slice of pizza, it all goes a long way. Shout out to Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Avicoli's, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Pizza Man, Honda City of Liverpool, the Millhouse Market, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, and Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. Go to maandpa'spopcorn.com and use that beautiful, beautiful promo code. It's so easy to remember, DT20. Dan Tortora, 20% off. That's what you got. Go to maandpa'spopcorn.com, and whether it's in-store pickup or delivery to any one of the 50 states in our union, and if you didn't know there were 50 states in the union, please just do better. But maandpa'spopcorn.com, go there to the online promo code DT20 at checkout. maandpa'spopcorn.com. You got so much to watch coming up. Baseball is back. We got the women's Final Four, the men's Final Four, the NBA, the NHL, the NFL draft. All of it is here for us, folks. So the time for you to get your popcorn ready is right now. Go to Ma and Pa's popcorn.com. Use the promo code DT20. That's DT20. And I'll talk with you soon. Facebook at Wake Up Call DT. Twitter at Call DT. Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. Inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, I am Dan Tortora. This is opening day of baseball. Have a fantastic time. I send you all my love. Thank you for Papa Joe and Ross Turetsky, two amazingly awesome baseball fans joining me for opening day of the 2021 season. And just because I'm going to do it, I'm going to give you my predictions on every game. Yankees over the Jays. What else? I'm going to go back and forth here. Yankees over the Jays. Tigers over the Indians. Red Sox over the Orioles. Rangers over the Brewers. Cubs over the Pirates. Braves over the Phillies. Dodgers over the Rockies. Diamondbacks over the Padres, which I know is really tough. So, I feel like the Padres are going to win that, but let's hope for the Diamondbacks to win. So I'm going to say Diamondbacks over the Padres, but I'm concerned. I'm going to pick the Cardinals over the Reds. Did I said Rangers over the Brewers, didn't I? No, that was the Twins. So I'm going to say Brewers over the Twins, Rangers over the Royals. My apologies. My apologies. And then I'm going to go with the Mets over the Nationals. Hopefully that game happens. The Rays over the Marlins. The Sox over the Angels, the White Sox. I'm going to pick the Astros over the A's and the Giants over the Mariners. So those are all my game predictions for opening day of 2021. We'll see how I do as of tomorrow morning. I'll talk with you on Friday, TGIF, from inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. I am Dan Tortora. You are amazing, and this is Wake Up Call. God bless. No stress. Do you?